recruit businesses from all over the world to help restore the prosperity to the region. They'll be moving in.
Former President Trump in Swannanoa, North Carolina, surrounded by mounds of debris from Helene's flooding, also saying he'll stop, as he puts it, throwing money overseas.
We're going to put America first. It's time we put America first. We've been helping countries for 50 years. We've been helping them for 50 years, never stops. And when we need help from them, they're not there.
Former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney argues Trump's positions pose a national security risk.
America cannot maintain our own freedom and security if we walk away from our allies around the world.
She's campaigning with Vice President Harris in 3 key states today, beginning with Pennsylvania, where she's emphasizing hers would not be a continuation of the Biden administration.
One piece of my opportunity economy is we got to deal with the reality of where we are right now. The American dream for previous generations was something that people could kind of count on, not so much anymore in terms of home ownership.
Harris touting her plan to help build more homes and give help to first-time buyers. A new Washington Post poll finds Harris and Trump locked in a statistical dead heat in 7 swing states among likely voters. The U.S. still investigating how classified information about Israel's potential plan for a retaliatory attack on Iran went public. The White House says it's unclear whether it was leaked or hacked.
We're deeply concerned, and the president remains deeply concerned about any leakage of classified information into the public domain. That is not supposed to happen, and it's unacceptable when it does.
National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby says there's no indication more documents like those will find their way into the public domain. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Very pretty weather this afternoon, though it doesn't really feel like closing in on the end of October. Lots of sunshine, 78 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, out of the 70s into the 60s this evening, 52 for the low. On Tuesday, maybe a spot shower first thing in the morning. Otherwise, it's a dry day. Partly sunny and 81. Wednesday, sunny and 78. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Happy Monday. Welcome to the Annie Fry Show. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. Beautiful day outside. We've had some exceptional weather here lately, haven't we? I'm glad you are hanging out with us this afternoon, maybe on your lunch break, whatever it might be. We appreciate you being here. We're going to talk about the McDonald's thing pretty much throughout the course of the show. So if you want to get on the Annie Fry YouTube channel right now and vote to let us know how you feel about it. The question today is, do you approve of Trump's McDonald's stop? I'm seeing a lot of people online, mostly people being retweeted that are like, this is a campaign stop. This is something that is not, it wasn't real. It was staged, blah, blah, blah. What do you think about that? Do you like it? Before we get to talking about that, we had Donald Trump in North Carolina, and he was speaking with people there in the midst of the recovery. And this is one of the individuals, Mike Stewart, who was talking at this particular event.
we had a business right across the street, like with the Shenandoah River flowing on the backside of it, and we lost everything. We had 70 plus buildings. We drove here 2 days later, and there wasn't one building that was ours, but there were houses and trailers and tankers and all sorts of things that were strewn across our property. And we lost a business, but there are a lot of people who lost everything, including loved ones. And I believe that you can serve as a great inspiration to this community right now. And the reason being is I think God's given you an indomitable spirit. And no matter what gets thrown at you, you find a way to press through. And I think that'll serve as an inspiration to this community to press on and move forward. I can't think of anything I'd rather have than a warrior leading our country, a warrior who, with the help of God and with faith and prayer, will lead this community, these communities, and this country to greatness. So thank you for being here today. I appreciate it.
I was listening to that as it was taking place just within the last hour, and I was really touched by the emotions you could hear in this man's heart. And the way he was talking about the devastation and, you know, just I can't imagine what it's like to see the devastation that these people are seeing to their livelihoods, to their homes, the loss of life. President Trump, and I've heard other people talking about this, but like families washed away, grandparents who have passed away with their grandchildren. I mean, this is just unfathomable tragedy. taking place there. So what these individuals are going through in North Carolina is so much bigger than like, oh, send some money to a GoFundMe. That absolutely helps, and you should certainly do that. But at the same time, there are things that will not be able to be rebuilt in North Carolina. The hurt and the struggle is massive. Donald Trump came out initially for a quick hit with Samaritan's Purse, and is it Franklin Graham who he went out with? And they, brought the resources of that organization into North Carolina. Donald Trump accompanied them right after it happened. But he was back out there today to do more. He said that the GoFundMe that they set up in North Carolina raised $8 million. And I think he said $7 million of it had been dispersed. And Donald Trump said at this press conference, we've got some money left here. I'd be interested in input on where that money should be sent. It's very, very difficult to see the things that these individuals are having to deal with, the burden that is on these individuals. Like you see at these press conferences, they end up being folks that are going to have to really lead their communities on the ground into whatever this area, Swannanoa County, whatever this area is going to look like in the future. These are the people who are going to be responsible for it. There's so much pain that exists in that. And it was very clear to me that when Donald Trump showed up, he did provide these people some semblance of hope by his presence being there. They thanked him repeatedly for showing up and making sure that this area was not forgotten as time moves on and the headlines change, that those people aren't forgotten. And they thanked Donald Trump for showing up. The reason why I wanted to pull that clip from this small business owner in North Carolina, Mike Stewart, is because he said what he said. Donald Trump thanked him, was very grateful for the things that he was said. And then Stewart kind of interjects himself back into the conversation quickly, and he does it in a way that it almost feels like he knows he's being bold by doing so.
If you don't mind, just because my heart's about to beat, do you mind if I pray for you?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, and all those that are prayers, would you join with me in this prayer? Father, I thank you for this man that you have raised up in this moment, in this season, for your purposes. And I pray that you would anoint him, that things aren't done just by might or by power, but by your Spirit. So I ask that you would anoint President Donald Trump and give him a spirit of wisdom and understanding and insight as he moves to lead this nation back to greatness. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen.
Wow. You hear Donald Trump's wow in the background. I thought that was a pretty amazing moment, and it felt, listening to it live, because Trump was going through one person after the other, politicians, business owners, the sheriff, all of these people who are coming up and getting a chance to say something, or Donald Trump would say something quick about him. When Stewart went up there and he asked for an extra moment to, may I pray for you? And Trump said absolutely, to let him have the stage for a little bit longer, or the microphone, I should say. That's an amazing witness. And I find it refreshing to see that this is where people are taking it, especially the people in the midst of a great tragedy in North Carolina, understanding the gravity of the situation right now. It's completely non-political. They'll take help from Democrats. They'll take help from Republicans. They'll take help from the last two undecided voters that exist in this country. They'll take help from anybody. But they understand the benefit of a Donald Trump presidency, and they are praying for him. And I found that to be very refreshing. This was today, and yesterday, one of the most, I would say, potentially ridiculous, but also amazing things happened on the campaign trail, and it was really wild to see. So I clicked. I was sitting on Twitter, got done with church, had family over for brunch, finally got the opportunity to sit down in my living room, and I opened Twitter, and I always just peek at Twitter to be like, is the world on fire? Just want to check. Just checking in. And I see the McDonald's tweets are coming in. Trump at McDonald's, Trump at McDonald's. So I open the YouTube app on my television, and the first thing I see up there is the full video, unedited, of Donald Trump being at McDonald's. So we watched it from the very beginning, and it was absolutely wild.
I'll tell you what, it's a great franchise, it's a great company, and they've been very, very nice. And you know, if you look at really what's happening, look at the crowd over there. Look how happy everybody is. They're happy because they want hope. They need hope. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to give much more than hope.
What does working the fryer tell you about the people of Pennsylvania?
Make it fact.
Mr. President, you actually have worked at McDonald's now versus...
Now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
Are you going to put this on your resume?
I never worked here.
Why would she lie about something like that? Will it be put on your resume?
Worked at McDonald's.
Why would she lie about that?
Why? Because she's lying, Kamala.
This line, what does working the fryer mean for the people of Pennsylvania? What? Oh, man. If you could just have clips. A year ago, before we knew who the nominees were going to be, if it's Joe Biden and a slew of Republicans who want to be the president of the United States, and then you just get this window into 15 days away from the end of this campaign. What does work in the fryer mean for the people of Pennsylvania? You'd be like, what? How do we get there?
That's the craziest part, is that the election is 2 weeks away.
Yes.
That's the part that you don't think about. The best part of this, though, was when someone asked him if he was going to put this on his resume, and he just goes, McDonald's worker. So funny.
The YouTube poll for today, if you go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel, you can see the question is located, as it is each day, but sometimes people don't. If maybe you're coming for the first time, whatever. You can see where we have the poll up. It's in the live chat portion. So you find the live broadcast of what we're doing right now. Hello to those who are watching. And you all you got to do is click on the live chat, and you'll see we're right there. And the question is, do you approve of Trump's McDonald's stop? When I walked into the building today, and I walked just like hadn't even gotten to the studio yet, and I hear, good or bad, it was amazing. Not to scoop Ethan, but my understanding, Ethan, is that your vote in this poll will be you approve.
Yeah, of course. I mean, how could this be a bad thing? Like, what about this in any way could be twisted to where it's a negative?
I can't wait to see how this poll shakes out.
I can't wait to read through some of these comments and see if any of them, a.k.a. Scooter, finds a way to make it negative. No, I mean, it is, one, it's fun. And in a time like this where everything is so uptight and everything is so, like, America is more diverse than it ever has been, to have something like this where Trump is going in and doing something that is viewed as a little bit more fun, enjoyable, lighthearted.
Fun.
Yes. I think that's really good. It's also, I mean, Pennsylvania, you know, that's a state that needs to be won, low key. For him to, I think it's strategic. I think it's smart. I think the biggest thing is it's fun.
Here is Donald Trump working the fryer, so now we can find out what it means for the people of Pennsylvania.
You got the salt on it. Never touches the human hand.
Very good.
Nice and full.
Thank you.
At the end, he's like, these need a little more salt, don't they? And the McDonald's worker goes, no, they don't. He goes, yes, they do. And then he put more salt on it. And I'm like, that resonates with a lot of voters. I also learned something from this whole experiment. And I don't know, maybe you guys know about this stuff more than I do. But at one point, the worker who is walking Donald Trump through step by step how the fries are made, he says, like, over here is where we put the no salt fries. Did you know that they have a section for no salt fries?
Yes.
I did not know that.
No. Why do you just know that as a worker?
I worked at one, yeah. I worked at one. Not a McDonald's. I worked at
a
different. I worked at a Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
But we also would separate the no salt fries. Because if you don't separate them and somebody orders fries no salt, which happens more than you would think.
Do you ever think that you've gotten an accidental thing of no salt fries?
At McDonald's?
Anywhere.
No I mean, maybe. I was like, it's 0% chance at McDonald's. But maybe, I'm trying to think, I don't know, maybe Dairy Queen. That would be the place probably. I feel like out of all of the quality of fast food fries, Dairy Queen might be the lowest.
Really? I like Dairy
think so.
Queen fries.
Well, they're not bad.
Yeah.
They're just everything else is better.
Everything is better. So Donald Trump's going through here, and he's extra salting. It's like I saw memes that are like Donald Trump indicted for 7th nugget and 6-pack. It's just like, I mean, to point out, you hit the nail on the head, Ethan. This was fun. This was not serious. This was not uptight. Is it pandering? Probably. But who, like the people who are sitting here and taking this seriously, you're unhappy people. You're not looking for the fun in life. If Kamala Harris could do this and look like she was having fun with it, I mean, the dichotomy of a billionaire, and honestly, I'm going to be honest here. The thing that sold the whole thing is Trump's white shirt and red tie.
Yeah.
And that apron that he's wearing, which is a blue apron with the McDonald's yellow straps around his neck and around his waist. But the red tie, I'm like, that apron belongs to that man. He looked great.
So I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, and I'm curious of your thoughts on this. Do you think that the Democratic Party would say that Kamala going on, was it Colbert? Is that where she had, or was that, who did she go on with?
Colbert.
Colbert. Would you say that her going on, having the beer, would you say that was, she would say, or their party would say that was their version of this?
There's a huge difference. Because what Donald Trump is doing at McDonald's is in context of all of the other things that he's doing. He could go be on in an interview with any other interviewer anywhere else and be taking very serious questions, very combative questions. He can do that. And he can do this. Kamala Harris is just pandery, crack open the Miller Lite, and it was Miller on purpose, whatever the product was. It was a Wisconsin product. To do that in a way that, like, air quotes, humanizes her. That's all they're trying to do. Forget about the substance. They've got to make her look human to the American people before you start worrying about the actual substance of Kamala Harris. This adds a new layer to Donald Trump. It's obviously like Playboy billionaire is where he was before he became a Republican. That's when everybody liked him. And now he's working at McDonald's. The visual is an amazing visual. Kamala Harris lies about working at McDonald's. That's the pandering. If Kamala Harris showed up and worked at a McDonald's right now, it's too late.
Yeah.
She's made the bed. She's got a lie in it. We'll get what Brad thinks about this a little later in the show, and we've got a great lineup for you. Next up, Will Chamberlain's going to talk to us about the SCOTUS, the Supreme Court rulings on the ballot, how he feels about the security and the safety of the election system. We're going to talk to him about that. We're also going to talk to him about that Elon Musk, Pennsylvania. He's like got a lottery for people who sign. It's signing a petition for his America PAC, right?
Right, yeah.
And he's giving away $1 million to a Pennsylvania voter who signs it.
You could be Pennsylvania, Georgia, swing state. Any swing state voter that signs this petition.
Dang it, Illinois.
And it's basically, all the petition says, I looked at it online, all it says is I support the First and Second Amendments.
Amen.
And
to
we'll
that.
Defend it.
Will Chamberlain will be with us when we come back. In the 1 o'clock hour, Steve Moore. We hope to connect to him and Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg on the Annie Fry Show. We've got Ethan in and out today for Ryan Wiggins, who's taking the day off. And Brad and I will be taking you through to 3 p.m., so don't go anywhere. We got you covered here on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloored.com. And when you shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet, it's always good to know that you are shopping with somebody who supports the things that you support, at least free enterprise, capitalism, and this show. We're grateful that we have been able to partner at 97.1 with the best people in the flooring business for decades, possibly. Michael's Flooring Outlet has the brands that you trust, maybe the ones that you don't know about yet, but they can talk to you about what you're looking for specifically with respect to your budget when you walk in their doors. They're going to guide you to the product that fits your needs the most. Maybe it's the Smart Strand Mohawk Silk line of carpeting. I love great carpeting. It's the smell of fresh carpeting, the feel of fresh carpeting on your hands or on your feet. When you put it in your home, it just refreshes the whole space and makes it feel fresh, new, and cozy once again. Visit them in St. Charles County and West County and also in Dardenne Prairie. You can visit them online at igotfloored.com.
If you're planning to sell and also buy a home in the near future, I know what you're going through. Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty knows selling and buying your next home at the same time can be tricky, especially in our area. Hey, Mark Cox here. If you need to sell and buy at the same time, this is for you. Gloria Lou has several great options for her home sellers, including her Sell and Stay program. That gets you the most money possible for your current home and allows you to stay put until you find your next home. No more stress, worries, or hassles. Gloria Lou makes selling your St. Louis area home easy, and she's been doing this for more than 21 years. Why risk working with an average realtor when you can work with the best? The name to remember is Gloria Lou of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com, 314-325-6888 or GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Right now, 38 states allow for sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 professional soccer teams, the KC Current and St. Louis City. These days, Republicans and Democrats don't agree on much, but the Republican and Democratic candidates for governor are both supporting Amendment 2 because it means more money for education. Amendment 2 isn't like the lottery. There's a strong constitutional guarantee. The new money from sports betting will go to our schools. $100 million for education without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Vote yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So I have a surprise for you, which is that we're going to be awarding $1 million to randomly to people who have signed the petition every day from now until the election.
Well, that was kind of an earth-shattering, earth-shaking announcement from Elon Musk about giving away $1 million to people who sign his amendment. All he wants people to do is sign a document that says they support the First and Second Amendment. I would like our politicians to do that too before they're able to run for election. A lot of people are getting in a hubbub about Elon Musk's commitment here to supporting people who support the First and Second Amendment. And we're excited to bring our guest on with us. Will Chamberlain joins us once again, senior counsel at the Article 3 Project. I encourage you to check him out on X at Will Chamberlain. Welcome back to the show, Will. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Amy.
So before I get to the Elon Musk part about this, I was peeping over there on your X profile, and it looks like you just voted today for Donald Trump. Is that accurate?
That is correct. In Florida, today is the first day of early voting, and so I, decided to brave. There was actually a significant line, oddly enough. The library where the voting station was totally packed.
Nice.
But I hung out for about half an hour, put my vote in. Key thing for Floridians, it's not just, you shouldn't be just voting for Trump. You should vote for Rick Scott and your Republican representative, but there's a couple of very, very key amendments you should be voting against. There's no on 3, which is the full legalization of marijuana amendment, which is just a massive handout to these businesses. And there's no on 4, which is the anti-abortion amendment. And I'm saying all this in my personal capacity also. That's an important qualifier.
Sure.
I'm not saying this on behalf of Article 3 Project.
Yes.
This is just me talking.
Yep, that's you. You went to the polls today, and those are the votes that you cast. I feel like the early voting thing is I feel like we're in such uncharted territories. There's not really a reference point in voting, American voting history for like, okay, in this state, the numbers look great for the early vote, the walk-in vote, the mail-in vote. There are all these different things, and every state's laws are very different. I'm just curious, from a legal standpoint, do you feel like the Republican Party has taken necessary steps to improve election and security and integrity in 2024 compared to what we've experienced in the past?
Yes, I think there's been a lot more aggressive litigation. I think both the Trump campaign and the party more generally have been a lot more aggressive about cleaning up voter rolls is one good thing, and doing other things to ensure election integrity. I'm confident that this is going to be a much safer and more secure election than 2020, for example. And also I think 2020 has a little bit of a one-off feel because it was mid-COVID.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of new processes were put in place in states that didn't have it before. And I also am confident that there's also been a shift in Republican voter behavior. It seems pretty clear to me that a lot more Republicans are voting early, either by mail or in person. Which is a good thing because it limits the extent to which Democrats can engage in election day shenanigans and sort of suppress the vote that way. That was a big part of their strategy, I believe, in Arizona, where you suddenly had places where suddenly on election day, the voting machines weren't working properly, and people were just being kind of either having to wait in line for hours or just, gave up and went home.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing you avoid. If you just get your vote in, there's no way you're going to get victimized by late election day shenanigans that, stall you out.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And open voting now in Florida. I live in Illinois, so we've been voting for like 2 years and every week or something like that. I don't know. But here in Missouri, we're a red state. Illinois is a blue state. We're not swing states. I've heard from even people like Elon Musk, if you don't live in a swing state right now, you're pretty lucky because the inundation of political ads, I can't even imagine what it's like. Like you probably go into a bathroom stall in Pennsylvania and there's like a hologram of Kamala Harris being like, welcome to your bathroom. Glad you chose this one. It's super bizarre. And if you're in a swing state, you're going to be pressured everywhere you look, every time you turn around. Elon Musk is focusing in on Pennsylvania. It certainly is the avenue for Donald Trump to become the next president. It definitely goes through Pennsylvania. What are your thoughts on his America PAC? This ask of people to sign this petition that says, hey, I support the First and Second Amendment, and he's kind of created a lottery out of it where he's going to give away his own money in the event that somebody signs it and becomes the lucky person.
Well, I think it's sort of indicative of Elon's understanding of how to get earned media. I think there's probably nobody better at it in the private business world, because think about it this way. Tesla doesn't advertise. It's the one car company that you never see car ads for, and yet they're one of the most popular brands in the world. He does it with his Twitter, word of mouth, but he understands how to get attention and use his money to get attention. So he's basically circumventing the normal way of getting money through, promoting your brand. Like he's not running ads for America PAC. he's spending his money, giving it to supporters, and using that to create media that just gets him coverage.
True. That's a
anyway.
great point.
So it's pretty smart.
Yeah. I'm wondering about the, there's been a lot of legislation, or not legislation, a lot of rulings, maybe some executive orders from a governor, like in the state of Virginia. And then there's court responses to those types of rulings across the country. You, Will Chamberlain, being a senior counsel at the Article 3 Project, I'm not 100% sure how much you key in on these specific cases in specific states, but where areas are you watching closely right now as we're 15 days away from the conclusion of this election, we hope, on rulings that are being made, governors who are trying to make things happen, state courts that are trying to adjust how states manage these elections. Do you still feel like there's something up in the air in any of these particular states that could help decide the election?
I mean, not off the top of my head. I don't have, I think most of those have been, and also I don't think there's a huge amount of litigation going on right at this moment that's going to be impactful, right? Like most of these issues get settled kind of months in advance, and especially since we're not repeating 2020 where you have a whole bunch of last minute rule changes. I don't see that as being a huge thing. I think it really is. People need to get out and vote, right? Like, yeah. and don't let anybody try and demoralize you or say anything about like, oh, this, we're doomed, blah, 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 because, they'll just rig it. Like, no, go vote. And I think a big way that people need to think about it is like, even to the extent that Democrats cheat, they can only cheat so much. Like there are still real paper ballots out there, right? There is a limit, and there's so much history and historical numbers for various places. There's lists of how many people are registered in your given district. So it's like there's only so much you can do. And so by going up and showing up in force, you essentially defeat the margin by which anybody could cheat.
Yeah.
And not get caught. So that's why I think whatever your worries are, go vote. Vote. We'll deal with the worries after.
So, Will, I want to talk to Will Chamberlain, the voter, once again, since you cast your ballot today in Florida. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I remember reading a tweet from you that referred to yourself as an undecided voter. And I'm like trying to remember if that was satirical or if you actually. It was
satirical.
Okay.
It was definitely a joke, okay. Right? Because the meme is that if you say you're an undecided voter, your opinion matters more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so,
that's
like,
exactly
if you
right.
Just say, as an undecided voter, I really think that Kamala Harris screwed this up.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful way to get a lot of traction.
I it stuck in my head.
Because, there are plenty of Trump supporters who got up, good for you, I'm glad to see you're on our side. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I know it's a joke.
Well, it made an impression on me. We put up after the vice presidential debate, CNN had this panel of 7 undecided voters, and it was the funniest thing that I've ever. I mean, I was like doubled over laughing at these so-called undecided voters. That then I'm like, the second I saw them, they weren't undecided. I know exactly what each of those people are doing, and I feel as though the undecided vote that does exist, if it does exist at all, is people who are trying to decide if they're going to vote. Maybe they've been disenchanted by Donald Trump. Maybe they've believed a lot of what the media said. And I feel as though a lot of people are looking at Donald Trump right now, and they've at least got an eyebrow raised as to whether or not what they've been sold on for so long is actually a true and accurate assessment of who Donald Trump, the man, is. Your encouragement for people to show up and cast the vote, it's not so much a coronation of an individual, but the direction, the path that we have going forward in a Kamala Harris presidency versus a Donald Trump presidency are completely divergent paths. I don't even know if there's an intersection between the two of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I worked for Governor DeSantis in the primary. Like, I was on his campaign. I wasn't supporting Donald Trump in the primary. I support him now. It's not, and I don't even consider it a close question. I think that, I've seen, and I see occasionally you see some like DeSantis people saying, I'm writing him in, or I'm abstaining. It's like you need to make, that's a very, very, whatever it's your ballot. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh God, how dare you? But I think it's silly. If you're actually a conservative, like you got to understand that the red team is the conservative team. Like Democrats under Kamala Harris will do all sorts of things to make your and your family's life worse. And to thwart the achievement of any of your policy goals. And it's not, the idea of hoping for something in the future that may happen if, no. Like, vote Republican, period, up and down the ticket. And that's, that's my personal, in my personal capacity. That's what I'd say to everybody, regardless of if you voted for Trump in the primary or not.
Yeah, I've been Team Ron DeSantis from COVID as a Midwesterner, watching what he was willing to do in Florida. Literally, my husband's a school teacher. They opened Florida. I think it was on like June 3rd. They're like, forget about this. We're opening up. Florida is open for business. I live under the J.B. Pritzker rule of tyranny, and he was going to Florida when Florida was open. And I'm like, if you're going to do it, I'm going to do it. We literally we got 4 kids, threw the family in the car, went to Florida, and lived like normal people. And it was so bizarre to do that again. And that's what really drew me into Ron DeSantis. I have no conflict supporting Donald Trump, and I cannot wait for him to win this election. I want to ask you, as somebody who worked on that DeSantis campaign, how do you feel? I'm not going to ask you specifically about the presidency, but how do you feel about Ron DeSantis' future in American conservative politics, knowing that he's termed out after this second term of governor?
I think he's still got a very viable future. I think, he's still a very popular governor in state. He's still got a big national brand. And he's young. He's only in his mid-40s. So, there will be opportunities for him if he wants to be a senator. Like this, when a Senate seat opens up, he'll be if he decides he wanted to run for that, he'll be a very formidable candidate. I can see a world where, it kind of depends on, what happens in this year in terms of like where Republicans are, because I think in a world where Trump wins, I think J.D. Vance is obviously in the catbird seat, or, in the driver's seat for 28. But I think he's just going to be a formidable candidate for president down the line. He will be. When will he be 65? 17 years from now? That's a long
a few
time.
cycles.
And that would be your sort of 65 would be your default like average presidential election age. So he's got a lot of time, and he's very smart, very capable. The governance of Florida has been top notch. He's also transformed this into a red state. 8 years ago, this was a swing state that Trump won by 0.5%. DeSantis himself only won his own race by 0.5%. 6 years on, he won by 20, and most people don't think Florida will be even competitive.
Yeah.
So he's done a really, really good job here, both for Floridians and for the Republican Party more generally. And I think he's got a very bright future ahead of him.
I agree. And I think it's such a key to realize how strong the Republican Party is and diverse in way of thinking in conservative politics, Republican politics, whatever that may be, knowing that Donald Trump has been supported by Ron DeSantis since Ron DeSantis has dropped out. For anybody who's listening right now and they're holding their nose on Trump because they liked somebody else, go vote. Just go vote for Trump. You'll be setting the party up for success for years to come. Will Chamberlain, thank you for the time today. We're always grateful for you. Thank you for casting your vote today, and we look forward to getting some results here in a few weeks.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Annie.
Thank you so much. It's good to talk to you. Will Chamberlain, the senior counsel at the Article 3 Project. You can find him on X at Will Chamberlain, or go to article3project.org and get involved in the process of supporting people who support your freedoms and your rights and liberties here as Americans. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Ethan in for Wiggins America. And last time I think we established an Ethan Wiggins America is taller and handsomer than I think that's what Ethan said. Better looking and younger and taller. I don't know. Maybe if we pressure Wiggins like this, he'll stop taking days off. Maybe not. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
AirComfortService.com. If you are looking for HVAC repairs at home, you need Air Comfort Service. You can reach out to them at 314-513-0091. But did you also know that they do commercial repairs? If you're a business owner, if you are somebody who is an office manager, an operations manager, building manager, whatever it might be, and you notice that there's an HVAC problem, especially as we've gotten into some of these cooler days and that furnace isn't pumping the warm air as it should be, you need to contact Air Comfort Service to remedy this situation and do it fast. 314-513-0091. When you call Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation, you'll get a free second opinion on a heat exchanger or compressor repairs. They have provided residential and commercial heating and cooling services for 55 plus years, and they've serviced businesses and residences just like mine. Been in my house multiple times. We've got an air conditioner from Air Comfort Service, a furnace, a water heater, an AeroSeal duct sealing throughout the course of our entire house. I trust them in my home. You can trust them in yours. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Republican Adam Schnelting is a husband, father, and a soldier. As an Army combat engineer, Schnelting is trained to fight for us. He's trained to solve problems. As state representative, Adam fought to keep men out of our daughters' bathrooms and sports. He voted to cut our taxes and fully fund our schools. He led the charge in Missouri to secure our border and address the fentanyl crisis. He even earned the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Adam Schnelting for State Senate.
I'm Adam Schnelting, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Schnelting for Missouri, Mike Summer, Treasurer.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
When you're hiring, ZipRecruiter's technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. What if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's that time again, where we choose who we think is the best candidate for office. It's a difficult decision that requires the evaluation of contenders. Do they have the appropriate skills and experience for this office? Are they the right type of leader? Do they have a clear vision? Selecting the right candidate is no easy feat. That's why, for your office, there's ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes choosing the right candidate for any office easy because they only find and send you the most qualified people for your roles. Best of all, they do it fast. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, while you're thinking about that really big decision, rest assured that any other hiring decision will be much easier when you use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BED-SORE.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you approve of Donald Trump's McDonald's stop? Yes or no? It's a really easy question, but it's also a really fun question. We want to hear what your answers are. We're getting some awesome answers in our chat right now, but we want yours to be one of them. Jump on Annie's YouTube page, vote in the poll, and then leave a message in the chat. The time is 12:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Mark Cox here. I have put together my 2024 general election voters guide with you in mind. The direction of our nation and our state is in your hands now. Visit 971talk.com to see the Mark Cox 2024 voter guide.
You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel alright, the kind you wanna stay up with all night. You gotta find your people.
Wiggins! Oh! Monday Roundup! Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
Ethan Sean, would you say that the Ethan Wiggins America is wilder or more tame than the Wiggins America version of The Wildest Ride in the Wilderness?
Oh, it's definitely more tame.
Okay.
There's
Good.
I mean, there is no predictability when it comes to Ryan Wiggins.
It's part of his charm.
Yes, 100%. He always keeps you on your toes. And he also continues to not be helpful for me at all when it comes to prepping for Wiggins America.
What's his advice to you?
Well, this morning I texted him, "Where do you usually find your stories for Monday Roundup?" He said,
The internet?
No particular place, just random stuff."
He doesn't want you to succeed.
Clearly.
Yeah.
What did he fail forward and onward or something like that?
That was his advice,
I
right?
need to get that quote.
His is like, if you're going to fail, fail big.
Stitch it on a pillow for him or something.
Yeah.
Okay, Monday Roundup time.
You keep each other on your toes, so that's good for the
that
show.
we do. Well, as he also described a couple of weeks ago, when he defined our relationship with the word cute, and that was it. So that's Wiggins for you. So there was quite a few interesting things that happened this weekend. A couple of sports things. We'll mix those in. I'm going to start off with a sports story.
Is this a sports story? Is it a sports segment?
No, not entirely. There's a couple of things, but we're going to mix a couple of things in.
Just do some fast food, too. The whole show today is about fast food.
My fast
I'm
food.
sorry.
Yeah.
That's right, I did.
So last night, the most important championship in sports concluded, the WNBA Finals, Annie.
Yeah.
The New York Liberty win in 5 games. And I was like, what can I find that's interesting about the WNBA Finals? And
I don't know. She's golfing right now. Go on.
USA Today really came up clutch for me. So they put out this article of season winners and losers. And the winners were like, there's a lot of new fans. It was a really good year for the WNBA. Caitlin Clark put them on their back.
You can't even quantify exponentially. Well, I guess you could because there are dollars attached to each year. But the relevance of the WNBA this year because of Caitlin Clark, it's unbelievable. I don't know if any one person has had a percentage effect on something the way Caitlin Clark has. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe, whatever. Yes, but the system that they played in was already huge.
You could argue that ever since the 98 home run race, honestly. No single player has had more of an impact on reviving a sport.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even say reviving the WNBA. I played basketball through my senior year of basketball. I was good. I was not great. I'm not bad, but I cared deeply about it. And I think the WNBA's original year, do you guys know that off the start? The WA began in 1997. So I graduated 8th grade in 1998. So the WNBA was a fresh thing for me we got 4th place at state in 8th grade on my basketball team. We had a very good basketball team. I think we were 10 and 15 my senior year as a varsity player or whatever. But I cared deeply. It was probably one of the greatest parts of my secular identity. And I couldn't have named any of the WNBA, certainly players. I don't think I could have named the teams. I'm the one who's supposed to care. I've never cared until this year.
I'm a sports guy, and I couldn't have until a couple of years ago named a couple of them.
Caitlin Clark changed it all.
So where this article gets really entertaining is where we get to the losers column. And I'm just going to go ahead and read a couple of these. The first one is other new fans. The only upside to the season ending is we no longer have to hear or see the trash humans who used Caitlin Clark as an excuse to direct racist and homophobic abuse at other players.
This is from USA Today?
Yes. So the W is not desperate enough that it needs these folks in its fan base, and league officials now have 6 months to figure out a way to weed them out.
The people who used Caitlin Clark to exact racism?
I guess to the other players.
I wonder who's the author. Do you know? I'd like to out this person's name publicly.
Let's take a look. Nancy Armour and Lindsay Schnell.
Unhappy people need people to be unhappy.
Amen to that. The second one is titled HBO. How has the cable giant not yet committed to Hard Knocks WNBA? And what do we have to do to get them there?
Hard Knocks WNBA is the games.
So now we're comparing the National Football League to the WNBA for having Hard Knocks NFL, where they follow a team around during the off season every single year, and it's a very successful show. But slow your roll now. You had a good year, but you're nowhere near the
invest
National
in
Football League.
If this person thinks that it should be done, they should invest in it.
I agree with
I
that.
think it's a smart investment. Do it.
I completely agree. And
The
the
risk
last
is on you.
The last comment is us, because us fans have to go a whole 6 months without watching high quality basketball, and I don't know if I would say
Man,
it's there
there's
yet.
a little bit of sarcasm in that.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, this next one is not sports related. So for those of you out there listening saying all I talk about is sports, this is for you guys. Cuddle time capped. New Zealand airport puts a 3-minute limit on goodbye hugs.
Are we paying someone to time this?
I don't know. It doesn't say in this article specifically, but what I can say... New Zealand? What I can say is this would be a serious problem in the Midwest. Lambert Airport, I mean, this would never work.
Where do you hug?
So
there's no space to hug. You got to go through security.
Their point is that when you're dropping off in the departures area...
Oh, in traffic.
Yeah, they're saying that it's holding up traffic, and that, people are averaging, staying there for 10, 15, 20 minutes.
I probably don't disagree with this.
So it's hard to say goodbye, so make it quick. 3 minutes max is what they're saying. And there's actually been a little bit of debate over this in New Zealand. People are unhappy with this, but I think that this makes a lot of sense. But like I said, I don't know if this would work in the Midwest.
I'm with you, Ethan. I think that if you want to say a longer goodbye, the option is always there to go park your car and walk your person to the terminal and give them the big, long goodbye hug that you want.
And that's exactly...
Don't hold up traffic. There's other people doing their thing.
That's exactly what they said. They have, they even designated, car park for longer windows of saying goodbye. So it's not like they're just saying, that sucks.
3 minutes for everybody.
3 minutes
bad.
and you're out of here. But why not just do that at home? A couple more here before we get. Are we at 5650? Is that one more? Okay.
Yep.
Did you guys know that the Victoria's Secret fashion show was this past weekend?
Yeah.
Did you happen to know that we, for the first time ever, had transgender models in it?
Yeah.
No.
Valentina Sampaio and Alex Consani were the first transgender models to ever appear in the Victoria's Secret fashion show. And I feel like that's probably one that some people are going to have mixed thoughts on.
Probably not.
But, I thought that was kind of interesting. And then to wrap up here, Dodgers-Yankees World Series coming up.
Barf.
It
Barf,
is a little
barf,
bit
barf.
gross to see two huge teams like this in the World Series. But
And by huge, you mean?
The top markets.
Payroll.
And yes, payroll. They spend a lot of money. But I think that this is also going to be very good for viewership in baseball. So I think there is going to be positives. It's also going to be a very entertaining series. Shohei Ohtani is he's the most exciting player in baseball. Come on, get out of here.
No,
Ohtani
you will
versus
not
Judge.
be
It's going to
saying
be fun.
positive things about Yankees Dodgers on this show.
It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
On Mark Reardon's show. Let him have it. No, I won't be watching an inch of that. I'm happy for Tommy Edman, though.
NLCS MVP.
MVP, yeah. Steve Moore, when we come back, don't go away.
Everybody needs help.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Cassins and Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Wagoneer. Oh, my dream Wagoneer. I like to think about it. If you go to CassinsCan.com, you can see the inventory that they have available on their lot right now. And if you were looking for a vehicle, new or used or pre-owned or whatever we call it these days, I want you to understand how much you can trust the amazing people, sales staff, the service folks in the service department, I trust them wholeheartedly with my vehicle. We bought the warranty on our Chrysler Pacifica, also the Jeep the Pacifica we bought new, the Jeep Cherokee, whatever, Grand Cherokee, we bought used, and we bought the warranty on both. And they have been so wonderful to be able to get them serviced, oil changes, everything at Cassens, because I trust them wholeheartedly. You can too. If you're looking for a vehicle, if you're in the market right now, make sure that you give Cassens the opportunity to earn your business. 618-800-2712, online at cassenscan.com.
Mark Cox here. Did you know the Rockwood School District is a great place to work? They're currently hiring school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodial staff. They have openings in Adventure Club, which is before and after school care. They offer competitive pay, flexible work hours, and a rewarding work environment. Discover the Rockwood Advantage and join an amazing team. Go to rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Under Law Injury Lawyers GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
An unsettling mystery. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The U.S. Defense Department still trying to figure out how classified intelligence about Israel appeared on public websites.
It's not yet clear if classified documents detailing Israel's plans for a retaliatory strike against Iran were disclosed because of a hack or a leak. White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby says.
We're obviously keenly focused on what happened here, on learning how it happened, and preventing it from happening again.
Kirby says President Biden is deeply concerned about the release of the classified documents. Right now, Kirby says there is not an expectation more documents will find their way into the public domain.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Vice President Kamala Harris holding 3 campaign events with former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney.
There are moments in the history of our country which challenge us, each of us, to really decide, do we stand for those things that we talk about, including a particular country over party.
In Pennsylvania earlier, then Michigan and Wisconsin. The daughter of former Republican President Gerald Ford is endorsing Harris. Susan Ford Bales says they likely disagree on some policy matters, but that Harris will defend the Constitution and work to move Americans beyond partisanship. Former President Trump visiting Western North Carolina, where some lost everything to Hurricane Helene.
I would just say you're special people. These are special people. These are people with heart. These are people that love your state. They love our country.
Pledging to help rebuild by cutting red tape if elected. Later, he holds a rally in eastern North Carolina. 5 New York men ultimately exonerated in a Central Park rape case from decades ago are now suing Trump, accusing him of defamation after he wrongly claimed during last month's presidential debate that they had pleaded guilty and the victim had died. A Trump campaign spokesperson calls the lawsuit election interference. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Very pretty weather this afternoon, though it doesn't really feel like closing in on the end of October. Lots of sunshine, 78 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, out of the 70s into the 60s this evening, 52 for the low. On Tuesday, maybe a spot shower first thing in the morning. Otherwise, it's a dry day. Partly sunny and 81. Wednesday, sunny and 78. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan are just a phone call away, 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. When you reach out to Stewie and you ask him about the Bagel Loan, you're going to find out how you can get a mortgage for the first time on a new home or a mortgage refinance, which I have done twice with the Bagel Loan with Stewie, and secure a lower rate potentially, but you pay zero in closing costs in order to go through that whole process. This is a great way to save on that monthly payment or potentially shave years off the length of your current loan. Call Stewie or text Stewie directly at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440, and ask him about how a bagel loan can help you. If you're looking to close quickly, if you're looking to make an offer on a home, he can close in less than 2 weeks. One phone call, one text message at 314-324-4440. Tell him Annie sent you. Google the Bagel Loan for more info. NMLS number 226715.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Missouri's judicial system gives voters the final say in retaining their judges. So know your judges before you vote November 5th. Visit yourmissourijudges.org. That's yourmissourijudges.org.
Paid for by the Missouri Bar, Misha Epps, Executive Director.
Missouri's Amendment 3 is cleverly worded to convince you that it only allows abortions until fetal viability. But it has loopholes that allow for abortions through all 9 months of pregnancy. Abortion proponents used to say safe, legal, and rare. But now they want abortion as common as the morning after pill. Plus, minor-age children will have access to sex change surgeries without parental consent. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John B. Royal Treasurer.
You can help those affected by this disastrous hurricane season by visiting redcross.org or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. Message and data rates apply. Together, we can help those who've been affected. Thanks for helping. Conservatives care on 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
And the fact that these people are accusing him of a stage-managed thing, of course the president has to have security because there have been 2 attempts on his life in the last 8 weeks. He can't just walk into a McDonald's and sign a W-9 and actually go on the payroll. That's just not how this works, especially given the security threats on his life. But look, he was interacting with people. He was talking to the employees. He was giving people food, and he was just being, I think, what he does best, which is just being among the people, talking to them about what they care about. He showed, I think, genuine interest in the employees and their lives and where they came from and what they were actually doing in their job. And that's something you can't stage and you can't fake. That is just the genuine person that Donald Trump is. And it's why I think a lot of working people, even though, of course, he's a successful real estate billionaire, have this emotional connection to Donald Trump. You can't make up that kind of connection. Unfortunately, Kamala Harris has tried and failed. And I think it's why her campaign is flailing a little bit right now, is because she goes into Sheets and does 4 takes of her buying Doritos. Donald Trump just goes into McDonald's and he is who he is, and people love him.
J.D. Vance, the vice presidential candidate on the Trump-Vance ticket, talking a little bit about Donald Trump's effort to go work in a McDonald's yesterday and bring attention to local businesses, big franchises, local businesses, and the importance of those jobs. And we ask our friend Steve Moore to weigh in on that, among other things. Steve Moore is a distinguished fellow in economics at the Heritage Foundation, as well as a Trump economic advisor. And he's author of the book Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. Steve, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being here today.
Hi, Annie. Actually, I have my new book just came out last week. It's called The Trump Economic Miracle. And it is about the superior record of Trump to Biden and Harris on almost every single measurement. And, how Trump did it in his first term and how he'll do it in his second term. So I hope people will get that. We're number 1 on Amazon Business and Economics. And Trump gave us a shout out last week on the book.
Yeah. The Trump Economic Miracle. We'll absolutely check that out. You'll be happy and proud of me, Steve. I was checking out your hotline in my email today, and it was the fourth point that is listed there is talking about how the real median earnings are still down under Biden. These people who work at McDonald's, the people who work in barbershops, the people who work, I'm just thinking of several of the places that Donald Trump has frequented here as of late, are really being pressured under a tough economy with real median wages still being down under the Biden-Harris campaign. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on the, middle-class worker, how they're faring right now and how they would fare if Donald Trump became the president.
Well, this explains why it is that Trump has surged into the lead in the race. Is that, Kamala, did you notice she couldn't name a single thing she'd do differently than Biden? Yeah. So, you're going to get, if you want 4 more years of this, then you should vote for Kamala Harris. But Trump is going to get us back to the prosperity we had when he was president. And, he's going to lower taxes. We're going to produce more energy. We're going to deregulate the economy. We're going to have better trade deals. We're going to build pipelines and things like that we need to, secure our energy independence. So a lot of the stuff is just common sense that makes an economy grow. And Kamala doesn't understand economics because she's never actually – there's a big dispute now about whether she actually worked for McDonald's. She said she worked there for 1 year, but the McDonald's people have no record of that. By the way, what kind of a lowlife actually lies on their resume about working at McDonald's?
Yeah, it's such a bizarre thing for her to claim. Yeah. Steve Moore speaking with us right now. I hear a lot about...
But by the way, Donald Trump has worked at McDonald's because he worked there yesterday.
Yes, he did. It was quite something to see him work in that fryer. That was wild.
And the way, he just has a way of... He just understands middle-class, working-class people. And the way he was dealing with people, when they drove up, it was just very... People should watch it on the video on YouTube because it's an amazing video. Trump just has a way of, even though he's a very rich man himself and an incredibly successful businessman, he understands blue-collar workers. And, I've been around him quite a bit over the last 8 or 9 years, and I've just noticed the way he treats people, whether the people he works for him or the Secret Service people or the service people at, the restaurants he goes to or the hotels. And he treats everybody with dignity. And, he asks about how they're doing, and it just means a lot to people. He has the common man's touch.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. You've kind of answered this question, but he acknowledges the blue collar worker. He certainly has a lot of support of the union members that are out there. Maybe not every union from the top, but
he's going to win the union vote. He will be the first Republican in a long time to win the union vote because they realize that the union leaders don't always represent their political views, and they're most Americans are generally pretty conservative, in terms of how they view the world. Not everybody's conservative or moderate, but most Americans are not far left. And Kamala, I want people to remember, if you're undecided, Kamala had a more liberal voting record than Bernie Sanders in the Senate. So she is no moderate. She's a are left-winger.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean, I think that when it comes to the union workers and it comes to the people who, are middle class or maybe are starting out in their career and maybe they do work at McDonald's or whatever it might be, there is this facade that has been created it encases Donald Trump by the media that has been in play since 2015. They've worked very hard to create a caricature of a man, and that's the person who has had to run for these for the president of the United States. And it feels like this time around, and I think, Steve Moore, that it's because of where it hits people in the pocketbook, that they are stopping believing the spoon-fed narrative of who Donald Trump is because they've seen what these years of the Biden-Harris administration is doing to their ability to make and keep their own money, that they're starting to think for themselves a little bit more than usual and maybe trust that Donald Trump's the right person, especially for the economy.
Well, that's certainly what the polls are now showing, and the betting markets are showing, that there's been about a 6-point switch in just the last 2 or 3 weeks. And remember, Annie, when Kamala was announced as the Democratic nominee, without getting a single vote, by the way, there was this love affair by the media. And, she zoomed into the lead, and she was treated like Mother Teresa, for goodness sakes. And now people are taking a look. I mean, Trump has a very good ad up in Virginia, where I live, which is a battleground state. And it just says, it's just one example. I mean, this is a woman who voted to use public taxpayer funds for sex change operations for criminals in jail.
It's wild.
I mean, you couldn't make that up.
That's like a jackpot.
I mean, what kind of lunatic is for that?
Yeah, completely. I wanted to ask you one last question. We want to make sure we respect your time here. We're speaking with Steve Moore. He's a distinguished fellow in economics at the Heritage Foundation, also Trump economic advisor. This idea that we keep hearing, Trump insults Kamala Harris's plan to always tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. Two-part question for you. Is that the Kamala Harris plan? And secondly, who does Kamala Harris consider to be rich?
Yeah, great point. So, we have a new report on our unleashprosperity.com website that shows, that half of the income tax are paid by the people in the top 1%. So the rich do pay a lot of taxes in this country. But there's no question that her tax policies would very dramatically affect middle-class people because she wants to get rid of the Trump tax cut. And the average American saved about $2,500 a year on their taxes, in that plan. So if you erase the tax cut, you're effectively raising. Anybody want to pay $2,500, $50 a week more in taxes? If you do, Kamala Harris is your person. Trump is going to cut taxes for everyone. Everyone is going to get a tax cut, including, don't forget, no tax on tips.
Yeah, he's thrown a lot of things in the no tax categories, overtime, all of that stuff. I know he's got a lot of ideas and he's been pushing them out there. Kamala Harris has been taking a few of those for her own campaign.
Yeah, well, it's we're going down to the wire. It is going to be a close race, and that's why, by the way, I mentioned my book at the start, Trump Economic Miracle, because you can just go to Amazon and get it for I think like $14.95, but if people are still undecided, and we know about 10% of the voters are still undecided, give them this book. You can read it in 2 nights, and you just look at how Trump performed and what's happened under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. It's like night and day. Remember how prosperous the economy was before COVID. We were like booming. And now we've had almost 4 years of middle-class Americans making no progress at all.
Yeah, and it's got to change, and Donald Trump's the man to do it. Steve Moore, thank you for being with us. A reminder for folks to get the Trump Economic Miracle and the plan to unleash prosperity. Again, highly recommended. Steve Moore, thanks for being with us again today. It's always good to talk to you.
Thanks, Annie. Have a great week.
Yep,
take care.
You as well. Look forward to having you back next week. We're 15 days away from the election. Tomorrow is Tuesday, so 2 weeks from tomorrow is the big day. I mean, are you prepared for this? Are you ready to be on the other side of this election? That's a big question. There's hope in the moment that we have right now. There's a finality in the moment that comes after the election when those results are decided. There are questions about how, whatever the other side is, the losing side, how they're going to react in this country. So we all sit on the edge of our seats and brace ourselves for impact. But the way that you can make a change in this election is still in play right now. I have the Turning Point Action app on my phone, and I've been using it to text people. I was going to go to Wisconsin The initial time that I requested to go, they weren't accepting people in the first weekend of October, and that was the weekend that I had available. So I've been spending my weekend sending text messages to people in Wisconsin, personal text messages, like individual text messages to low propensity voters, and you can do that as well. If you go to the Turning Point Action app, you can sign up there. You can still go to Wisconsin. You absolutely should do that 100% and get involved. And, you don't have to text these people necessarily and recommend books to them, but it's important to listen to what Steve Moore is saying there. Like if there's somebody out there right now that's maybe thinking about staying home or whatever, have the conversation now with them. After the election, it's over. It's done. It is what it is. Now you can still make an impact on how the outcome of this election actually ends up unfolding. And I think it's a really important moment in time where you can make a difference, you can have an impact, and you can potentially contact somebody or go show up and work under Turning Point Action. I mean, I don't know if the process is still in play. I haven't heard that it hasn't been, but they'll put you up. They'll provide lodging for you in a hotel. They'll take care of you through the whole process. So go to Turning Point Action for more information there. When we come back, we're going to speak with Speaker Johnson, or not Speaker Johnson. We're going to speak with Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. And here's Speaker Johnson talking about these leaked Israel plans.
Yeah, the leak is very concerning. There's some serious allegations being made there, investigation underway, and I'll get a briefing on that in a couple of hours. There's a classified level briefing and then other, but we're following it closely. Look, I talked to my friend Bibi, Prime Minister Netanyahu, yesterday to encourage him. I mean, he's done an extraordinary job, I think, prosecuting that war, and if he had taken Joe Biden's advice, they'd be in a much weaker position right now. I think that the United States needs to stand unequivocally by our ally there right now.
So where's the next step? What is the next step in Israel's willingness to defend themselves, to eliminate the terror threat that exists to the elimination of the Jewish people there in Israel? What is their next step? What is the responsibility that America has in that next step? How will America respond in support for Israel in the next step? Is there a red line of what we'll do and what we won't do? Well, I don't have any of the answers to those questions, but I do always, as usual, have a lot of questions. So we're going to bring Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg on with us in the next segment. So don't go away. Thank you to Steve Moore, who gave us a little bit of his time this afternoon. And when we come back, we'll speak with the Lieutenant General about exactly what's going on in Israel, what we know, what we hope, what we're afraid of, all of it next on The Annie Frey Show. Don't go away.
This is The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
I was on Twitter last night, X, whatever, and I saw a tweet, and it said that the Detroit public schools spend about $22,000 per student in 2022. $22,000 per student to educate in Detroit. Now, what does that have to do with me talking to you right now? I want you to understand, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. You've been considering an alternative to the public school you're sending your child or that your grandchild is attending. You want an alternative, but you're afraid of the price tag. You've probably been hindered on even looking into it because you don't want to see something you feel like you can't have. Is that right? I understand that. I understand that line of thinking. Of course, I'm going to tell you, and I believe this wholeheartedly, that a Lutheran education for your child and your grandchild is priceless. The outcome, the foundation that you establish in these young years is priceless. But for the sake of this conversation, let's put an average price on sending your child or your grandchildren to a Lutheran school. I can tell you from my own personal experience that I can send my kids to a Lutheran school to get a Lutheran education. I had 3 children in a Lutheran school at one time in elementary school, and I paid less than half the cost that Detroit is paying in Michigan per student to educate one kid. I could send 3 for less than half that cost. I don't know what your circumstances are. I don't know what your financial situation is. I know there are a lot of grandparents listening right now who would give anything to have their children have an alternative to the public education they're getting right now, or whatever the circumstances are. Lutheran education is an affordable, accessible, and superior education for your child and your grandchild. If you're going to invest in anything, this has got to be at the top of the list. The way you learn more information for yourself and do the research for yourself is to go online to LESA, that stands for Lutheran Elementary School Association, LESA.stl.org/Annie.
Right now, 38 states allow for sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 professional soccer teams, the KC Current and St. Louis City. These days, Republicans and Democrats don't agree on much, but the Republican and Democratic candidates for governor are both supporting Amendment 2 because it means more money for education. Amendment 2 isn't like the lottery. There's a strong constitutional guarantee. The new money from sports betting will go to our schools. $100 million for education without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Vote yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 5-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
This is a special alert to anyone owing the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or with unfiled tax returns. Write this number down, 800-373-0322. The IRS has ended COVID forgiveness and they are cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to hear about our tax debt reduction programs. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or already in a payment plan, we still can help you. You may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a mere fraction of what you owe or for other resolution programs. Tax Relief Helpers has tax agents available now for a free consultation. TRH has already helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning them an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. If you or your business owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands to the IRS, you don't have to be afraid anymore. Call our relief hotline now to see what savings you may qualify for at 800-373-0322. 800-373-0322. Once again, that's 800-373-0322.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Dwayne Patterson.
This whole bravado of she can go into harm's way and she's got all the strength and she's confident and she's this, she's that. Now all of a sudden everybody on the left is trying to justify why it was a disaster.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Well, 2 days ago, we took out Yahya Sinwar, the terrorist mastermind whose goons beheaded our men, raped our women, burnt babies alive. We took him out, and we're continuing our battle with Iran's other terrorist proxies. We're going to win this war.
That's Bibi Netanyahu talking about the defense that they have put up and the actions that they have taken to respond to the gross attacks that have been exacted on the people of Israel, the Jewish people there, and we wait and we see what happens next. There are reports out, specifically one here that I'm reading from CNN, that says the U.S. is investigating a leak of highly classified U.S. intelligence about Israel's plan for retaliation against Iran. According to 3 people familiar with the matter, one of the people familiar confirmed the document's authenticity. The leak is, quote, deeply concerning, a U.S. official told CNN. Well, let's get to the bottom of what is taking place here. We welcome back to the show Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, a former national security advisor to the Trump administration, as well as co-chair of the Center for American Security at the America First Policy Institute. General, thank you for being with us today. It's good to have you back.
Annie, it is always good to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I want to ask you about Bibi Netanyahu's words there. He's saying we're going to win this war. I mean, it's hard to look at what has been thrust upon Israel and not think that they are at war. They've responded. How do you feel about what Israel has done so far in response to those October 7th attacks that took place just over a year ago?
Yeah, you look at somebody like Netanyahu, and he's really become what I would call Churchillian in how he's addressed the threats in his nation's face. You know, he's fighting in a small nation as they are, they're fighting in multiple directions. They're fighting against Hamas, they're fighting against Hezbollah, they're fighting against the Houthis, they're fighting against the Iranians. They're doing quite well. And they've done something that I thought was really kind of extraordinary. And they've got a philosophy, the Israelis do. They call it Dahiyah. And what Dahiyah means is disproportionate responses to an attack. And you can see that in the actions they've taken, primarily against the leadership of Hezbollah and Hamas. And they took out Sinwar just recently. They took out Haniya, who was the leader of Hamas when he was actually in Tehran. Then they took out Nasrallah, who's the leader of Hezbollah, and they took out his number 2 guy named Shukr. Plus, they took out probably 2,000 individuals of consequence using those pagers, and then they've gone after the Houthis, and then they've gone after the Iranians. And when you look at it, it's really quite remarkable what they've done. And they've done that without any great verbal support from the United States of America. You know, Kamala Harris hasn't given money support. I mean, she stiffed him, Netanyahu, when he came back here and spoke in front of a joint session of Congress. You know, Biden picked up the phone and called him the other day, but that was the first time in 50 days that he called Netanyahu. And you look at Trump actually has picked up the phone and called him twice recently. And so you kind of say, okay, this guy's kind of fighting on his own. It's an existential fight. He's doing quite well. It's doing well. And I think that because of that, he has put some level of deterrence into the Middle East that we haven't seen in a long, long time. You know, it's kind of interesting. They haven't gone after Iran yet. And I think part of that is because they are kind of weighing their options. And they've got an enormous, suite of options they can go after, either after they go to the supreme leader, they got the nuke sites, they got the industrial facilities, whatever it is. But when it comes in, I'll close the circle. When it comes right down to it, you've got a leader in Israel who is defending his nation. His popularity's gone way, way up. And he's kind of basically said to everybody, you're not going to attack our people and get away with it. And what's happened on 7 October over a year ago, and he's right.
We're speaking with Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. I want to ask you about the when they got Sinwar. Some people were saying, like, well, this is an important moment. There, you can go one way with this, you can go another. Is there a bigger potential for peace after Sinwar, the Hamas leader, was taken out? And, of course, that's the hope for everyone. But you'd have to have both parties in that area, that region, in those two organizations agree to have peace. Do you feel as though Israel is in a position to negotiate that peace now in a stronger way? Or do you feel like there is still more aggression that will come from Israel in order to make that case completely clear?
Yeah, I think there's an opportunity here, but it would take the United States to get involved. And by the way, Annie, I don't think they will, because I don't think they've got the legs to do it in a short period of time. But right now, you've got Hamas still talking about, we're going to put an individual in charge. We're still fighting. Really, they're on their back foot. They're really hurting. Here's how you'd have to do that. It would take the United States of America to kind of pick up the phone and call the people who are aligned a little bit with Hamas in the region, like Qatar. And you pick up the phone and you call Al-Thani, the sheikh there, and you say, look, this is what's going on. We need your help to do it. We need the Saudis' help to do it as well. Well, the problem is they've lost all this ability to communicate. For example, Harris has got no relationship at all with Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and neither does Biden. And they're going to be absolutely key to this whole thing because of the economic piece. They're kind of the money bags for the region. The Saudis are. And there's no ability to reach out to them. So there's an opportunity if you have reach out, but the United States would have to do it, but they don't have the capacity or credibility to do so right now. And the fear of the Hamas is they're just going to replace Sinwar with somebody else who's another hardliner, like his son, who's also a hardliner. And people need to understand, and this is where the United States has to play a hard role, meaning take the hard calls. You tell Hamas, you tell the Palestinians, until you bring somebody in here who's reasonable to do this, there's no such thing as a two-state solution. None, zero, right at all. And people need to understand the possibility of that happening in the near term is not there. In other words, a Palestinian state. Because it's going to take a long time to bring the Palestinians back on board. I remind everybody that it took the United States of America, the southern states of the United States, after the Civil War, 11 years to reintegrate the Union with the North, with the Union. It took Germany and Japan probably 11 to 12 years to reunite with the normal world after World War II. This thing is not going to go away overnight. The Israelis are just not going to turn it off right away. They're not, because they're so glued by this, as rightfully they should be. So it's going to take the United States to play, and I don't think they are. So the bad news, the good news is there an opportunity? Yes. Is it going to happen? The answer is no, because the people that will have to be the broker in this is the United States, and they'd have to be a broker with the Saudis and the Qataris and people like that. And this administration doesn't have the legs. First of all, it doesn't have the time to do it because they're running out of airspeed and altitude with the election coming up. And Harris has got no relationships at all in the Middle East, at all, none, zero. So is there an opportunity? Yes. Is it going to happen? No.
Yeah.
Are you going to keep the fighting going? In all probability, yes, until they come up with a reasonable solution that Hamas is not going to be running the government in Gaza, and the Palestinians are going to have to pick up a different leader. I don't think they will in the short term. So that's, there's good news and bad news, and you got both.
Yeah, it sounds like chaos continues to reign supreme on the opposition to Israel. You're talking about Kamala Harris's ability to negotiate in that region, meaningfully negotiate. I'm trying to think of a time where she's been asked a question or had the opportunity to speak on this issue where it hasn't just, kind of been like, we want peace, we'd like a ceasefire, hopeful two-state solution, some positive things about American support for Israel, but nothing that really has teeth. And I'm wondering, should Donald Trump win this election? He's boastfully talked about both the Ukraine conflict with Russia and the Middle East conflict, that he would be able to have great impact on both of those conflicts before he is even inaugurated. Does that have to do with the gravitas that he brings just from what he's already done in the first term? How does he feel so confident that he can have that much influence on these conflicts an ocean away?
Well, the reason he can do that is because, well, one, he's got a track record. But the second is when you are in transition, and let's say it could happen the 6th or 7th of November, whenever they call the election, then you start making pronouncements and you start doing things, and everybody shifts their thinking. They move from the previous administration to a new administration in transition, and he's got the ability to do that. And the reason he's got that ability to do it is there's one thing that Donald Trump has that Harris doesn't have and Biden hasn't. One sliver right there. Remember, Biden hasn't talked to Putin in over 2 years, so Trump has always had the ability to connect with leaders. He picks up the phone and calls anybody. I mean, he will talk to anybody. I mean, look at what happened this weekend at McDonald's. He'll go talk to people. He feels good about it. He does that with leaders. That's a very key quality of leadership, is the ability to reach out to friends and adversaries as well. And he will do that immediately. He'll start talking to people, and leaders will start calling him immediately. That's how it works when you have a change of government. And he'll start saying things immediately, this is what he wants to do. And that will keep people say, okay, this is where he wants to go. And they're not going to start changing their attitudes on the 20th of January. They will start changing their attitudes on the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th of November, because they're going to say, okay, this guy's coming in. So if you've got that ability, that quality to be able to talk to foreign leaders, which Trump has shown in 4 years of governance, plus the way he is just as a person, and that Biden does not have, and Harris hasn't shown she's got an ability to do it, that's where you start to see the changes. And I've been asked that question before. I said, no, change can start occurring almost immediately. Because people say, I don't want to get on the wrong side.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. And they will reach out to him. So it's not even very subtle at all. It's actually how the world actually works. So can he do it? The answer is yeah. And he will start making pronouncements. People are going to say, well, I'm going to be dealing with this guy for 4 years. How do we do it? And that's the reason why I think he's got an enormous advantage. If he didn't have that personality, that he couldn't do that or wouldn't do that or have the capacity to do it, it's a different story. But we all know who he is. We all know how he operates. We all saw him, how he operated with foreign leaders. And it's just his DNA.
Yeah.
And that's an incredible advantage.
And they know, too. The people who are in these foreign countries, they certainly do as well. Touching on that CNN article I was reading about this leak of highly classified U.S. intelligence about Israel's plan for retaliation against Iran. To me, I'm looking for the teeth in this story, and I'm wondering if this is just, getting ahead of some sort of news report that might be coming out. But when you hear about these quote unquote leaked documents that suggest that there are Israeli plans for an attack, a retaliation attack against Iran, what are your thoughts as Lieutenant General? How do you feel about what this leak might entail?
Well, to start with, they ought to have an investigation to find out if there was in fact a leak, and that didn't happen. Now, here's one thing I would be surprised about. I would be shocked, however, if the Israelis told us anything about any attack plans, because they don't trust us. They don't trust this administration. And they might say, yeah, we're going to attack in the north when really they're going to attack in the south type deal. But I don't know if they would have given us it. But if they did, and that's always concerning, and those were in fact leaked, and you can probably run the trap lines of where that information was, because when it comes to sensitive information like that, that is only given to certain organizations within the government and certain people within the government, and they can probably track that down. But, man, I will tell you, I put everybody that is involved in that on a polygraph in a heartbeat and say, we're going to try to find out what actually happened, because you've got to send a message internally.
Does that happen? You put people on a polygraph to figure out who – is that something that legit happens, to figure out who the leaker would be?
Sure, it could happen, because when you've got the high-level clearances, they call it departments, when you've got an SCI ability, you are subject to polygraph at any time.
Wow.
Because that's basically the most senior and most significant documents that are there. And that's the reason when they call it TS as in top secret, TS-SCI, top secret special compartmented information. When you go to the SCI level, that's well above TS. That's really compartmented. And you say to people, no, if you've got an ability to touch the SCI data, then you are subject to a polygraph. That's the reason I say I'd check that out. But there's two parts to the story. One is check it out and find out if it's true. But the second is, it's like the Israelis really don't trust us really well, and I don't blame them at all. I wouldn't tell us anything at all. And if I did tell us, I'd tell us just the opposite of what I was going to do. So it's one of those I'd find out, because we have shown quite well that we are not in their camp, full score. And what I mean by that is we've had great opportunities to say we are with the Israelis full up, and we haven't done it. Now, we have given them equipment, yeah, but it's been slow in coming. But we've made comments to them that we're kind of saying, well, we kind of want to be, equal-footed on this. Support them. We support Hamas and the Palestinians, support the Israelis. No. You say full up, we support the Israelis. That's what, Richard Nixon in 1973 after the Yom Kippur War, when at the third day of the fighting going on there, the Israelis were really concerned they were going to lose this fight. And so what President Nixon basically called in his military and said, everything that has an airplane that can fly to Israel, you load it with equipment and send it to them. And they did that. And the Russians came out and said, well, we may have to get involved in this. And boy, Nixon went right back and said, we are now raising our defense condition, which is a real signal. When you raise your what's called a DEFCON, defense condition. Mm-hmm. When you raise the DEFCON, it sends a real signal, we're getting ready for a fight. And he raised the DEFCON and told the Russians, okay, fine, this is what we're going to do. And the Russians said, on second thought, we're not going to do anything. And that's how you kind of have to handle it.
Yeah.
But this administration hasn't done it.
So much gamesmanship.
Oh, absolutely. But that's what part of politics is.
Yeah. I wanted to, before we let you go, respectful of your time, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg with you. I couldn't pass up the opportunity to share one of your most recent posts on X with a picture of Donald Trump hanging out of a drive-through window at a McDonald's. It's an amazing photograph. And you posted, it is said a picture is worth 1,000 words. Donald Trump serving fries and welcoming people at a McDonald's drive-thru. From fight after getting shot at a rally to this. This is the real Donald Trump I know. You know this man personally. You have worked with him. You've been with him. Do you think that America is starting to understand who Donald Trump really is as a human being more than they have in the years leading up to this election?
Annie, I really hope so because, I've been with President Trump since 2015. And I really love the guy because the guy, is he's so great. He loves America so much, and you don't see it. Well, I got to give you one anecdote because it's kind of funny. During the middle of COVID, I remember I walked in the Oval Office with him, and we were sitting around and talking, and he looked at me, and we just kind of, kind of casually said, he goes, he said, just like this, I just want Americans to get better. And I said, sir, stop it right there. You go out right now, go down to the press room, and you say just that. He goes, no, that shows weakness. Oh, God. So it's, his public persona is so different than his private persona. And people will tell you that. He's good heart. He's got an incredible sense of humor. He's incredibly gracious with his time and what he is and who he is and what he has done. And there's so much written about him, that the way he is. I'm just telling you, my daughter once said, Dad, you ought to write a book one of these days and write the book Behind Closed Doors, because I saw what he's like as a human being. And I'll say this to you and to your audience, because it's one of those things you think about. You look at Donald J. Trump as a family man, and he's been married 3 times. Donna's passed away. But all 3 of his wives adore him. And then he's got 5 children, 1 from each one of the marriages, including most recently Barron with Melania. The kids all adore him, and he treats them incredibly well. And look at what they look like. Look how they, posture themselves. That's part of parenting.
Yes.
And parents out there know it. And said, you tell me what families are like that. Even the Reagan family wasn't like that. Michael Reagan wasn't a big fan at all. Even of his dad. So I say you kind of look a little bit and back up a little bit and look at the man and say, am I missing something here? Because I think they are. And I'm just hoping when you see what I saw him looking out the window with that big grin, I said, that's the Donald Trump I know. And then when he got shot and he stood up and yelled, fight, and said, fight, that's the Donald Trump I know. And that's the reason why I tell people I'm with him. I've been with him. I've seen him. I've seen the personal levels, and I've seen what he believes with his military, men and women in military. And I just tell people, I said, that's what I see. That's what I know. And it's, and I understand it's a personal level, but I just really believe in him, and I think he'd be great for America. I really do. Again.
Well, that's real, and that's the stories, the anecdotes that people want to hear. Larry is listening to us, watching us on YouTube, and he said he'd read that book. So if you read it, Larry's going to be first, or if you write it, Larry's going to be first in line to get it and hear those stories from behind closed doors. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, it's always such an honor and pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for the time again today. We're really grateful for it.
Thanks, Annie. Thanks for having me.
Of course. We'll do it again soon. Thank you so much. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, the former National Security Advisor to Donald Trump. He's also the co-chair of the Center for American Security at America First Policy Institute. Check him out on X at General Kellogg. That's where you can see that post. I mean, the picture of Donald Trump, whoever snapped that picture, just chef's kiss. Same as the photo, the fight photo with the right after the shot, after President Trump was shot, and he's got his fist in the air and the American flag is blowing in the background. He's got blood on his face. I mean, those are moments that happen. There are moments like that happen all the time. When you're able to capture it in a photograph, boy, you can change the course of history with an image like that. And I think the McDonald's one out the drive-thru, it's one of those photos. Quick break. When we come back, let's revisit the YouTube live chat poll. Do you approve of Trump's McDonald's stop? Yes or no? You got to tell us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Go vote in the live chat poll. Back in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Civia Law, online at civialaw.com, SIVIA law.com. I'm very excited that Todd Civia is going to be offering 10% off estate plans for the first 10 people who schedule a strategy session during Estate Planning Awareness Week, which is exciting. If you haven't planned out your estate, a will, a trust, your powers of attorney, you've thought about it. Maybe you've heard somebody close to you who is experiencing the loss of a parent, or they're in the midst of all of the things that come with executors and trusts and powers of attorney. It's a lot. Make sure that you don't have to have question marks about that. If you need to make sure you have an estate plan squarely set aside. And when you create that strategy session with Civia Law at 833-995-WILL, I'm working with him on the finalization of mine right now, 833-995-WILL. 2 weeks from that sit down of that strategy session, you're going to have completed documents. So this isn't some huge undertaking that's going to go on forever and ever. You can have a finality to that conversation in hand, in place, and it's an important thing to do. So you can save 10% off these estate plans for the first 10 people who schedule a strategy session during Estate Planning Awareness Week. That's right now. Appointment doesn't have to occur this week. You just need to schedule it this week. So here's the number to call. Reach out to them now and get on this before those opportunities are gone to save that extra 10%. 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL. This is a great value. So 10%. Mention the Annie Fry Show when you call 833-995-WILL. Visit them online at civialaw.com.
All righty. We're getting ready to come into winter here, where we're going to be using our furnaces. A lot of you are getting prices now, or you're getting your furnaces checked and you're being told that you have an issue with your furnace and you need a new furnace. So if that is the case and you want a very simple common sense approach to picking a furnace, if that's the case, I'd appreciate you calling and giving me a chance to meet with you and discuss your options. So call me. It's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. Just one number. Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or on the web is bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Republican Adam Schnelting is a husband, father, and a soldier. As an Army combat engineer, Schnelting is trained to fight for us. He's trained to solve problems. As state representative, Adam fought to keep men out of our daughters' bathrooms and sports. He voted to cut our taxes and fully fund our schools. He led the charge in Missouri to secure our border and address the fentanyl crisis. He even earned the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Adam Schnelting for State Senate.
I'm Adam Schnelting, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Schnelting for Missouri, Mike Summer, Treasurer.
Today's YouTube live chat poll, do you approve of Donald Trump's McDonald's stop? Yes or no? We want to hear your answer to that, so jump on Annie's YouTube page, leave a comment, vote in the poll, and let us know what you think. Do you approve of it? Yes or no? Why? Why not? The time is 1:52. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
If your family has been touched by Alzheimer's, join with 97.1 listeners and many others at St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's on Saturday, October 26th at Chesterfield Park. It's a community of support. Register today at 971talk.com/events.
You gotta keep them separated.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
You actually have worked at McDonald's now versus...
Now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
Are you going to put this on your resume?
She never worked here. I've now worked 15 minutes more than Kamala. So
Will be put on your resume.
Worked at McDonald's.
Why would she lie about that?
Why because she's lying Kamala, that's why. Why would she lie? She shouldn't lie about it. McDonald's confirmed 4 times now she never worked here. But let's not talk about that. It's an amazing business. It's an amazing country. And we're going to make America greater than ever before.
President Trump from the drive-through window. At the end of this campaign stop, that's what it was. At the end of this campaign stop, he says, okay, a couple more questions, and then he has to go. And he finishes the press conference, and he turns it around, and he's like, well, that's a really bizarre place to do a press conference. I just thought that's very true. He's hanging out the drive-through window in a apron after he handed out like a dozen servings of French fries, answering questions of the press. He was even like, get these press some French fries. Can we send these out? And I was just like, he just doesn't. You can tell that they're not sending him out there going, first you're going to say this, and then you're going to say that, and then after this person asks this question, you're going to give this response. It's all him. Love him or hate him, it's Trump. The YouTube live chat poll for today is, do you approve of Trump's McDonald's stop, yes or no? The votes are coming in. We've got 276 votes in right now. You need to let us know what you think about it. I'm going to read, let's see here. Game said, I wish he would have went to Subway. McDonald's is too easy. Subway. RSG said, Trump at McDonald's is like a Norman Rockwell painting moment. I've seen that multiple times. Tom said, weird question. I'm ambivalent towards photo ops. Trump, air quotes, worked at that McD's as much as Paul Ryan washed dishes at a closed soup kitchen. So Tom says no. Brad, did you like that he stopped at McDonald's?
I loved that he stopped at McDonald's. You said it so many times, and his biggest enemy is the caricature that has been painted of him. And every time Trump is among the people, he looks more and more human, he looks more and more relatable, and he looks more and more likable. And this situation was no different. He was able to go in there and soften his image. You don't see the big, scary monster whenever he's, scooping fries into the little carton.
No, he was funny. Oh, gosh. I like the way Ethan said it in the very first segment of the show. He said it was fun. And in a super tight and tense race like it is right now, folks, I've been talking about the election being so many days away when it was in the 500s. I've had a countdown on my phone. If you've been listening to the show for a while, you've been hearing me count down over and over again this many days to the election. Well, I'm here to tell you 15 days until the election. You need to get out and vote right now. And we'll see if we can squeeze more fun out of it before it gets here. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Hey homeowners, it's time to transform your house into a masterpiece with Lakeside Renovation and Design, your James Hardie siding experts. Picture this, durable, weather-resistant siding that doesn't just protect, but elevates your home's value and curb appeal. James Hardie, the gold standard in siding, installed by the pros at Lakeside. Say goodbye to maintenance headaches and hello to a home that stands the test of time. Ready for a siding upgrade? Lakeside Renovation and Design is your go-to. Visit our showroom or call today. Unleash the potential of your home with James Hardie Siding.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. As a business owner, it's your job to anticipate constant market changes. But what do you do in the event of a divorce? Years of hard work building a business are on the line. This is not business as usual. You need an experienced partner you can count on for help. We're Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of our Missouri or Illinois attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
If you are looking to buy or sell in Illinois, your real estate, you need to talk to Jen Teske with RE/MAX Alliance. Jen Teske and her team at RE/MAX Alliance are experts in making sure that your process of listing a home, timing when you list your home, making sure that you can do the necessary repairs. Or, folks, we've been in a market where people are buying houses sight unseen. I don't know if that's the case right now. The Jen Teske team knows. When you are looking to sell your home, you want to make sure that you get it done in a right way, with a methodology that you can trust, that you're positioning your home for top dollar, and her team knows how to deliver you, let's be honest, the honest truths that you need to hear in a way that doesn't hurt inside. It just helps you make more money. That's what it's all about. If you're looking to sell, if you're looking to buy in Illinois, you need Jen Teske and the amazing team at RE/MAX Alliance. 618-541-1010. Call that number directly and reach Jen Teske and the RE/MAX Alliance team. 618-541-1010, JenTeskeHomes.com.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Under Law Injury Lawyers GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
3 battlegrounds in one day. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Vice President Kamala Harris visiting Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Fox's Peter Ducey.
The Harris team admitted today it is just a tiny sliver of voters who still have yet to make up their mind. And so they are trying to help voters in blue wall states decide by putting Vice President Harris on stage with Liz Cheney.
The former Republican Congresswoman campaigned against Harris in 2020, but also voted to impeach former President Trump and says she believes Harris will defend the Constitution. Harris calls Trump unserious.
But the consequences of him being president of the United States are brutally serious.
The former president visiting North Carolina in one of the areas hardest hit by Hurricane Helene.
I will slash through every bureaucratic barrier that you're having already and having problems with right now, I understand pretty badly, to help you get back on your feet.
Again, criticizing the FEMA response hours after North Carolina's governor asked that he not share lies or misinformation. Several water systems in western North Carolina still have no water or power. The Biden administration still trying to figure out how classified intelligence about Israel's military planning showed up on public websites.
President Biden is deeply concerned about classified intelligence assessments about Israel's potential retaliation against Iran showing up in the public domain.
That is not supposed to happen, and it's unacceptable when it does.
White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby says the Pentagon is investigating. So far, it is not certain if the classified documents were leaked or discovered by hackers. There's also no indication, Kirby says, of additional documents becoming public.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. An hour to the close on Wall Street, a sell-off continues for the Dow, down 378 points. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing. Those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Very pretty weather this afternoon, though it doesn't really feel like closing in on the end of October. Lots of sunshine, 78 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, out of the 70s into the 60s this evening, 52 for the low. On Tuesday, maybe a spot shower first thing in the morning. Otherwise, it's a dry day. Partly sunny and 81. Wednesday, sunny and 78. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Boy, I love the folks at the Diamond Shop, mostly because they're great people, but I also am the proud owner of a beautiful strand of pearls that my husband gave me to mark an important occasion for us a few years ago. It's such a precious thing to receive something like that, especially when it comes from a place that you can trust to help you maintain it, to support it throughout the course of a lifetime, because a lot of what you'll invest in at the Diamond Shop, it's timeless. I got this strand of pearls from my husband, I think it was 2018. And when I did, I realized, this is something that I'm going to hand down to my daughters one day. This is a very, very timeless, generational piece of jewelry. And when you go to the Diamond Shop, they care for you in a way that respects that relationship. It's a really big deal to purchase something like that. And you want to make sure that you are lovingly proud of it for the lifetime that you're going to have it. In October, they have 50% off all diamond studs. This is a great heirloom as well. If you're looking to get something for someone special in your life, consider this great opportunity to save on these diamond studs during the month of October. So you've got about a week left, a little bit over a week. Go to the Diamond Shop in Clayton. Tell them Annie sent you and ask about the 50% off sale. Also, go online and become a VIP. You scroll down to on the homepage to the bottom. The form's there. It's quick. It's easy. It helps you save money. TheDiamondShop.net.
If you're considering new windows, there's nowhere else to go but Window World. Mark Cox here. My friends at Window World are doing something now they've never done before. That is offering up to 36 months interest-free financing for your purchase. So you get the great windows put in now, you get the energy efficiency, the great look, and then you have 36 months to pay for it. How about that? Window World has been around for a long time, and their reputation speaks for itself. They are highly rated in the Better Business Bureau and all of the rating agencies. They're big supporters of our St. Louis Blues. And here's the thing. If you mention you heard this on the Mark Cox Morning Show in 97.1, you're going to be entered in a drawing for 4 Blues tickets during the upcoming season. And that's great. They're going to pick a winner every month, and good luck to you. If you need new windows, I'm telling you, Window World is the way to go. 314-993-1800. That's 993-1800 or windowworldstlouis.com.
Missouri's Amendment 3 is cleverly worded to convince you that it only allows abortions until fetal viability. But it has loopholes that allow for abortions through all 9 months of pregnancy. Abortion proponents used to say safe, legal, and rare. But now they want abortion as common as the morning after pill. Plus, minor-age children will have access to sex change surgeries without parental consent. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John B. Royal Treasurer.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
And look, you look at this agenda she put out. First of all, the free loans, that's unconstitutional. You can't give money away based upon skin color, unconstitutional. And number two, that's all you think of black men is marijuana. It's just a disgrace that they think of black men this way. Black men care about the same issues that every American cares about. How about you secure the southern border? How about we have an economy where wages adjusted for inflation are actually rising?
I continue to watch the Harris campaign meander through the choices that they're making right now to try to advocate Kamala Harris as the best candidate for the job to be the president of the United States. And they're making facepalm mistake after facepalm mistake. Like, what are you doing? Why do you? The only thing that I can surmise is that when the media had such a grip on the narrative, when the media was able to fill in all the color on a story with support, whether it was the way they covered a story, if they covered a story, all of this. When the media was able to invest so much into driving the narrative of how people felt about any particular thing, you could get away with the absurdity of what Kamala Harris has been doing in this campaign. But it just feels like the narrative-driven, agenda-driven media can't really pull it off the way that they have in the past. And when you take that out, that ability to influence, I mean, I'll go back to what we talked about. I think it was on Friday. We talked about that that reporter, his name slips my mind right now, who posted the results of the Kamala Harris interview with Bret Baier, talking about how it got it was the most viewed interview of the election season. And this person who's a frequenter of, I believe it's MSNBC, is talking, his word that he used to introduce how successful this interview was, booyah. And I thought, well, that's a unironic way to use that word. That's kind of interesting. But they were trying to dunk on the fact that Kamala Harris goes on to Fox News and gets all of these viewers, and that's somehow or another a dunk for the Harris-Walz campaign. It's like, I don't think that word means what you think that it means. Why? Did you see the interview? It did not go well. Watching Kamala Harris come in a very hostile manner, late to the interview, probably intentionally, to try to shorten the amount of time that she had to answer questions and still get credit for showing up and doing the interview. It did not go well. And the more people that see that, I mean, from my side of the aisle, it seems like the better. But when you don't have the ability for people to be greatly influenced by the likes of the MSNBCs of the world, they don't get away with such ridiculous pandering and defaming of these candidates that are not on the approved side of the aisle. And I think it really shows how silly a lot of this has been, and without the substance provided by, the color commentary of the narrative-driven media, it just kind of sucks. I mean, wouldn't you say, Brad, that Kamala Harris is, it's an inferior campaign. It's like, what? I'm constantly thinking, what are you doing? Every decision she's had to make is a stupid one.
Well, it seems like she's got a group of people there that aren't used to having to actually campaign because they're used to the media being able to spin up everything that they say. So they say something, but the media actually does the campaigning. I think she was also relying on this campaign or this election season to be a referendum on Donald Trump. Like, maybe we could just call Donald Trump evil.
Turn the page.
Yeah. Maybe we could just call Donald Trump evil and keep the focus on him, and then we don't have to talk about our stuff. And whenever you look at that Brett Baer interview, every time Brett Baer would pin her down with a question that she'd have to answer, she'd be like, come on, Brett, but Donald Trump. Right? Am I right? But Donald Trump. You know what I'm talking about. And he's like, no, I don't. I think what's happening is that, and I think Will Chamberlain talked about this in that first interview, he said that 2020 was kind of an outlier. They got coverage that they wouldn't usually get and cover, I should say, from the media that they didn't get this time around. So they don't know what to do because they've never actually had to run a real campaign against somebody.
Well, you can say that Donald Trump is evil and then have the media show a bunch of edited clips that don't give full context or don't tell the whole story of who Donald Trump is and make him seem like he's a bad guy. I mean, good grief. You still, again, facepalm, like literally I just facepalm. You still hear Biden and Harris talking about the good people on both sides hoax. I mean, if you're willing to, in October, peddle in the absolute lie that is Donald Trump said that there were good people on both sides, suggesting that it was like the racist white hoods, there's good people over there, and then there's good people on the other side. It was never, ever, ever. And I've been way ahead of this, pushing back on this for a long time. I have somewhere on X an enormous, like maxed out the amount of tweets you can put in a thread of evidence that Donald Trump, A, is not racist, and B, what you've been told is a lie about his approach towards that. They've gotten so much runway out of the racist label, but I would say, like, now, at this point in the election,
the amount of work he's doing, speaking and just being willing to talk to anyone. I think that people are seeing that there's a true care and desire for the country. I mean, why would he be running for president, like, for selfish ambition? He is he is unbelievably rich. I mean, there's not a lot that he gains out of becoming the president. He's already done it once. Like, what for him personally does he accomplish? I mean, he has donated his first term. He donated all 4 years of his salary. Not that he needed it, but I mean, it just goes to show that it's not about the money. It's about taking care of the American people and knowing that I guess the only thing would be the pride that he thinks he could do it better than anyone else.
do you think that Donald Trump is a good man?
I think that he has shown. I mean, it's so hard, like, for us as people to define what is good and what is not.
I think he's a good man.
I think that he's done a lot of good things. He's also done a lot of bad things, as has every single human being on the face of the earth. So, I mean, yeah, it gets a little bit dicey trying to, like, put it into one thing. Like, I think you could ask the same thing about everyone in this room. Like, are you a bad person because you, like, do bad things when you do good things as well? Like, I mean, like, it's not as simple as just one thing or the other. I think Donald Trump has done a lot of good for the country. I think he is been very generous with his money as well when he has a lot of it. So, yeah, I think it is fair to argue that he is a good person. I mean, like I said, the amount of money that he has donated, it's clearly not been about any personal gain, in my opinion. It's been about the American people. I think that that's a very fair thing to say, that he's a good person based off of that.
You know, when you think about is Donald Trump a good person, this is something that I was talking about. I think it was last week or whatever. But the idea that Donald Trump has had billions of dollars spent on trying to make you think that he's a certain type of person, like you could spend 1 billionth of that amount of money and make people think the same thing about me, about you, about anybody. If you wanted to have a targeted character assassination effort on trying to make sure that everybody understood Donald Trump to be this particular type of person, that's what they've done. And again, going back to the media, that being my original point here, that if the media is willing to go along and subsidize that effort to destroy Donald Trump's character, there's not a whole lot that you can do to check that. Because you on the other side of the media, you can do like a pro-Trump type of a thing, which a lot of people would assume that Fox News is doing. But then it just becomes partisan. Then the whole apparatus of a free and fair press that is out there to advocate for the American people under the First Amendment, to make sure that they have the right to challenge authority and to get to the bottom of whatever the situation is, to expose the truth. And the truth isn't partisan, it just is. You can have pundits, you can have people like me who come on and say the truth is this, and then I can tell you what I think about it. We have people in the media who have actively participated in manipulation of truth, of hiding truth from you, of taking truth and bastardizing it into some version of something that they share with you, because the only thing that they're invested in is the end game of how you think about somebody. It's interesting to me that the only thing that I think that could have combated the completely compromised press in this country is an absolute failure of what the alternative is that they have to offer to us. So, okay, fine. Donald Trump got, I think, 8 million more votes in 2020 than he got in 2016. Think about getting 8 million more votes when you have 96% negative press coverage. That's kind of crazy that that's the case, that he's able to increase his support in the midst of 96% negative coverage. And America shows up in full force and says, no, we'd prefer Joe Biden instead. And then we get Joe Biden and Kamala Harris for 4 years, and people are like, this freaking sucks. I don't want this at all. What's the alternative? That guy? That guy is back, and he's the alternative? And then you sit back in your chair and you go, it was better when Donald Trump was in office. And then if you are like internally, like from your gut, wanting to have something be a change, and people are saying this is a change election, if you have that visceral response to, before you're even considering what the alternative is, going, I can't afford any more of Kamala Harris being in the Oval Office, even as vice president. I can't afford it. And you pivot to Trump, you're like, can I stomach this? Can I put myself through what I need to put myself through to support the alternative? And then people start asking questions. People weren't willing to ask questions before. You were spoon-fed disgust for Donald Trump. And people are like, well, these last 3.5 years have been disgusting as well. So which is less disgusting? And to a lot of people, they're realizing, gosh, I don't know if I can vote for Trump. I might be able to stomach it. I don't know if I can. But then you're realizing that he's not nearly as disgusting as you were sold on believing. And I think that's why you see so many people who are getting the excitement behind their newfound support for Trump. I hope it materializes. Let's continue this discussion when we come back here. We've got Ethan and Brad. Ryan's taking the day off today. He's with his kiddo, so we are going to welcome him back tomorrow. The YouTube live chat poll for today. Do you approve of Trump's McDonald's stop, yes or no? Ethan, you are
Absolutely.
An absolute. Brad?
I'm a big yes.
Yeah, yes here as well. Bill said the McDonald's stop shows a man who is confident and comfortable with himself. And as Ethan said, it's fun. It was fun, right? Scoot said it's a sports. Wait, that's not this. Scoot said the the negative here, thanks for asking, is that it deflects from his profane rant on Saturday in Latrobe. I don't know what he's talking about. Do you know what he's talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
He called Kamala Harris a crap vice president.
Oh, it wasn't. He didn't say crap, though.
Yeah.
I detect no lies.
Okay.
She's terrible. She's absolutely terrible. More truth from Donald Trump. Scoot, thanks for reminding us. We'll be right back.
Breaking young girls' hearts. Ooh, mama always told me, be careful who you love.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
She's just a girl that claims that I am cool.
The Retirement Advisory Group, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, Thomas Helbig, they want to have a conversation with you. It doesn't cost anything. And you've been thinking about this. You've been wondering, like, what are the moves that I have to make if retirement, maybe you think retirement is nearer than you thought it was. Maybe you're fearing that it's not within reach at all. What you are fearing is the unknown. That's why you talk to Bob and Tammy and Thomas Helbig, and you sit down and have the conversation so that you know exactly what is to come. And you just might find that retirement is within reach more than you thought. 314-993-9494. You reach out to them at the Retirement Advisory Group and you schedule a conversation. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no obligation when the conversation is over. You just sit down and talk about where you are, and they tell you how they can help usher you from where you are working right now into retirement with confidence. Worry-free, as they say. They've never had a client lose a penny. Join them. You can call them at 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
Weather can be unpredictable nowadays, but your local news station on the free Odyssey app has got you covered. Whether you need an umbrella, windbreaker, or an extra layer, or two, we'll let you know. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station to listen on your smartphone or ask your smart speaker to play it before you head out the door. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station. That's AUDACY.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-580-7766. 800-580-7766. That's 800-580-7766.
To understand what makes Diamonds Direct different, you have to understand our history. It goes back 60 years to a renowned diamond cutter overseas. From there came years of diamond cutting, manufacturing, and wholesaling, supplying exquisite fine diamonds only to high-end jewelers. Then eventually the wholesalers started selling direct to the public, and that started a revolution. Today, we are a global diamond powerhouse with hundreds of thousands of customers and an impeccable reputation. But our core values are the same as always. Our diamonds are the highest quality cut by the best craftsmen. Our prices are the most compelling. Our selection is staggering. Our warranties and guarantees are rock solid. And our people are laser focused on helping you find the diamond of your dreams. So as the story unfolds, as the revolution continues, we invite you to experience a jewelry shopping experience unlike any other. Born in excellence, rooted in determination, and thriving in passion. Diamonds Direct. Showroom hours, directions, and more online at diamondsdirect.com. Proud to call the Lou home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The minds and voices that shape America are talking here.
This is Brian Kilmeade. This is Griff Jenkins from Fox News. This is Jimmy Fallon.
Stream it on the Odyssey app.
97.1 FM Talk.
97.1 on the Odyssey app on your phone. This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We've got polls that have come in, and I'm just reading through some of them right now, and we'll wait to maybe do this again later in the week when Ryan gets back because he geeks out on all of this stuff. I only believe the final poll, and I hope to believe the final poll this year that comes out of this election. I peek at these polls just to see what kind of trends that we have right now. The Electoral College top battlegrounds right now, according to Real Clear Polling, has Trump up 1 point at 48.4% to Kamala Harris's 47.4%. 2024 state races, I'll go through a few of these right now. These are aggregates, as I understand it, with Real Clear Polling. Pennsylvania has Trump up 0.8 with 47.9%. North Carolina, very close. Trump up 0.5 at 48.4%. Georgia, Trump is doing a little bit better there, up 1.8. So almost 2 points there, but not quite. So at that point, we've got Donald Trump in the lead in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. If Donald Trump wins those three states, he's going to win the election. As long as he doesn't lose a state that is not listed as a swing state, the combination of those three states, North Carolina, Georgia, and Pennsylvania, all there on the East Coast. We understand Pennsylvania has already said we're not going to have results on election night. Pennsylvania has said that ahead of time. If the vote totals are big enough, then they might change that. They might be able to make a projection in Pennsylvania, but I'm not counting on it at this point in time. I'm hoping that would be the case, but not counting on it. Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia are the three states that I hope to see Donald Trump win and win early, because if he wins those early, it's going to be a much more comfortable night and would also be very indicative of what would be to come throughout the course of election night. Let's see here what else we have. So those three, Trump is in the lead. Arizona has a Trump lead at 1.6, so that's a little close. That's close to what Georgia is. Arizona, to me, is a complete and total toss-up. It seems like they are a mess down there. They're the ones who ran out of ballots last election. I know that there are really great people in the Republican Party working in Arizona to shore up some sensibility there, but I'm just not holding my breath. I don't want it to have to come down to Arizona. That's essentially where I am on that. Wisconsin, according to RealClearPolling.com, has Trump up 0.2%, 48% to Harris's 47.8%. Michigan, Trump versus Harris. Trump up 1.2% in Michigan. You wonder how what? Are you shaking your head no?
No, I'm shocked.
Oh, okay. I was like, what, did I read that wrong?
Wow.
Michigan, does that have to do with the auto workers? Does that have to do with the union workers? What does that have to do? What's materializing there? And we'll get to this conversation here in a minute, but there are Senate races happening in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, and several of these other swing states that could dramatically affect Donald Trump's ability, should he win, and those Republican candidates to win, his ability to govern. Nevada, Trump up 0.8, which is surprising. Usually in the polls that I see, Nevada is the one that usually goes towards Harris. And at the same time, Nevada has some of the most bonkers election laws. So I don't have much confidence there. Arizona and Nevada, I'm not I'm not holding my breath there. Michigan, if Michigan goes to Trump, that's to me a very good sign. Nationally, if you look at the averages for the polls that are in right now, Trump versus Harris nationally, Kamala Harris is up 0.9% in the national vote, which means absolutely nothing. It doesn't matter what the national vote is. Hillary Clinton won the national vote. Just ask a Democrat. They will tell you. Donald Trump was the president. Hillary, not the president. It's like, not the mama, not the president. If you know, you know. On the top battlegrounds, Trump versus Harris, Donald Trump has a 0.1 lead, which we talked about a little bit earlier there. The congressional vote, this is interesting as well. If you compare the support the Democrats have versus Republicans in the House of Representatives and Congress, Democrats have a 1-point lead at 47.2% to Republicans 46.2%. So these are all things that I think are important to be looking at more on the terms of trend as opposed to individually, like, okay, this polling average. If you talk to people who look at this stuff for a living, they're going to talk about the crosstabs. They're going to look at who is polled. Is it a +5 Democrat, whatever. There's all of this super nerdy stuff that you can get bogged down into, and anybody can look at these polls and make what they want out of them. So I'm trying to look at trends. But Trump is trending up in basically every state that matters. I think it's also key to be thinking about the Senate. This is not something that people are talking about as much because the Senate map, the Senate would be huge. If the converse of what we had last time is if Joe Biden would have won the presidency and those Georgia seats would have gone to Republicans. Brad, how dramatically different would the last 4 years be if they didn't have a majority? I mean, the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris, the thing that caused inflation to not be reduced. She was the tie vote on that. And she proudly boasts about casting the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act. She doesn't get to do that if they're in the minority.
Yeah, and there's probably a lot more that doesn't go that way, and it might actually force Joe Biden to moderate a little bit in the second half as well, because you would think that the Republicans would have maintained the Senate in the midterm elections as well. There's a ton of the stuff that they just kind of rammed through that they wouldn't have been able to. I think it changes the judiciary and the judicial appointments. Joe Biden doesn't get to appoint his radical judicial appointments that he's been appointing. There's just so much stuff that would have basically put the brakes on in Joe Biden's presidency, which might actually have helped the Democrats in the end because they wouldn't have been able to push through some of the stuff that they did. Like you said, the Inflation Reduction Act that caused more inflation. That was basically the Green New Deal in disguise. Then if it doesn't go through, then maybe the inflation and the cost of stuff doesn't go up as high, and Joe Biden doesn't have as bad of economic numbers as he does.
I think it's funny to look at the averages on Real Clear polling here, and it says the State of the Union, the President Biden's job approval, he is underwater 15.3 points of people who disapprove of him.
Whoa.
The direction of the country, negative 37 points on saying that we are headed in the wrong direction. That's way underwater too. And then the national poll is Trump versus Harris. It's Harris by 0.9. So when you're thinking about people being asked the question, like, how do you feel about how it's going? So what do you think? They're like, it's terrible. It sucks. More of the same. Harris for president. It doesn't make sense to me.
No.
But that's another reason why our founding fathers were brilliant in the Electoral College installation, and Tim Walz could sit down and take a civics lesson and understand why, maybe, if he wants Minnesota to matter at all in the future. Some of the polls that exist right now in the Senate races, people are talking about Rick Scott. We talked to Will Chamberlain a little bit earlier on the show at 12:25, and he was saying he went and voted today, and he voted for Rick Scott, said people need to show up and vote for him. That Florida Senate poll, Scott is up +3. So he's got 3 points on his Democrat opponent there. In Florida, that's kind of wild to me that it's as close as it is. But here is a Trafalgar group. We've had Robert C. Cahaley on our show many times, and we're grateful for his take on all things politics and polling. And Trafalgar has the Pennsylvania Senate race tied. which is a surge for McCormick. He has not had the wins at his back throughout the course of this campaign, but it seems as though those numbers have been ticking up for him. And Casey, the senator there, now tied, according to the Trafalgar Group, and an Atlas Intel poll that was taken and delivered a day before the Trafalgar one has McCormick up 1. So that's multiple ones that are saying that it's close, that it's, like, in my opinion, in play. And then you'll wait and see what the turnout is. The voter enthusiasm for Donald Trump this weekend in Pennsylvania has been off the charts. Donald Trump showed up at the Pittsburgh Steelers game and the Jets. It was a Steelers-Jets. And you got to love the reaction that people have towards Donald Trump when he shows up to events like this. He tweeted out, or excuse me, I think he put it on, probably on, I don't know, it's True Social or whatever it was. But there are actual people highlighting the fact that Donald Trump's image that he shared of him as a Pittsburgh Steeler is actually AI. Well, no sugar, Sherlock. He's wearing number 47. He's wearing number 47, looking pretty good and jacked in this Pittsburgh Steelers, I almost said costume, which is actually probably more likely what it is. He looks good in it. And during the Steelers-Jets game, a well-endowed woman, ran onto the field with a Trump van sign. And I don't know if people are talking about this part of the situation, but she was in stiletto heels. She deserves the mad respect of women everywhere for running out into grass for Donald Trump in stiletto heels. Did you see the video?
No, I did not see that video. It's pretty awesome.
Boys are going to like it.
It's hilarious.
I'm just saying.
She
needed better footwear and a tighter bra.
Did you see that Antonio Brown was handing out terrible towels before the game that
What's
said
a terrible
Trump fans?
towel?
So you know how at Pittsburgh Steelers games they have the yellow towels that they're waving around everywhere? They call them terrible towels. It's the Steelers fans. It's probably their biggest tradition. And they were handing out terrible towels yesterday that said Trump Vance on them.
It's amazing.
It's fantastic. Here's more non-AI. Donald Trump will be playing for the Yankees. I don't know if he needs. I don't know. What's a smarter play for him to be pro Yankee or pro Dodger? Probably Yankee.
I think Yankees more in play. Like if you're talking California versus New York, definitely New York. And he's probably a Yankees fan.
I don't know. New York has some lawsuits going on against them right now, so I don't know. You might be a little salty with them.
I just love the internet. I'm so happy that the internet is here. Just scrolling on the memes. When you have this Newsweek post, Donald Trump has shared what is likely an AI generated image on his True Social account showing him as a player for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No.
Newsweek is fighting for you, folks. I mean, give me a break. This is an actual post. I'm reading this from the Newsweek.com website. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump posted what appears to be an AI-generated image of himself as a star NFL player on True Social on October 21st. I don't know. It seems as though we're investigating it. While in Pennsylvania yesterday, the former president not only hosted a campaign rally in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and served French fries at a McDonald's in Bucks County, but he also attended a Steelers-Jets football game. After arriving halfway through the first quarter, are they trying to disparage him for arriving halfway through the first quarter?
It's very rude. It's unprofessional, and it tells a lot about what his campaign and what his 4 years would be like if
maybe he would
were
be
to
a
win.
Dodgers fan then. The former president was welcomed by Trump Steelers fans. Well, it's nice of Newsweek to acknowledge that. Who the former president thanked on True Social, and he wrote, "Thank you to the Steelers fans for a great reception tonight. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. MAGA 2024! Exclamation! Exclamation! Exclamation!" I'm a believer in one exclamation point is enough. Maybe that's where we disagree, Mr. Trump. Verified photos of the former president at the football game on Sunday night show him in a suite at, how do you say that, Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, wearing a blue suit and a red tie. However, the image posted on social media depicts Trump on a football field wearing a jersey for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There is no evidence this ever occurred. Newsweek, you're killing me. Why is this appear like this? It's unbelievable.
It's the veins in the arms that got me last night.
That made you like, oh, I'm not 100% sure that this is accurate.
It's like, do you think that he runs his own social media?
I think he runs the majority of it. I mean,
I would like. What do you think, like, for Donald Trump to like find AI images? What do you think that process is like? Do you think he tells his team, he's like, I want an AI picture of myself in a Steelers jersey? Like, I'm just wondering, like, there's no way he actually goes on an AI website and finds that and posts that himself, right?
I would say that people see things and send them to him.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's like, I'm sharing that.
That makes sense.
I don't think that he's like, guys, I need an AI picture of me in a Steelers uniform. I think someone sends that and he goes, oh, I like that.
His campaign manager's like, hear me out.
Yeah.
What if we put you in a Steelers jersey and we posted it everywhere?
Here is also a picture of Donald Trump just completely in. This is much more likely than the other one. Just he's in a suit. He hasn't changed. Didn't get the Steelers uniform in this meme, but he is running the football. He doesn't look as though he's got it in the breadbasket fully confined, but it's okay because a fully padded crossover between it and Ronald McDonald is blocking for him. So
I don't think he's blocking. I think he's trying to tackle him, and he's right at the end zone line, so that's a dangerous spot. You know, might get a
playing
safety.
For the Chiefs?
I don't know what he's playing for. It's like a McDonald's themed team. It's like the.
What is the logo? What's
Let's take a look.
What's
I can't tell.
Tim Curry. That's Tim Curry. It's frightening. I don't know what to make of this.
This is a wild. The internet, Twitter's a wild
I don't know
place.
if this is a real photo. I don't know if this really happened.
Is this real?
It's hard to tell. I mean, you can't even tell which team Ronald McDonald is playing for.
There's an article I'm sure out there from Newsweek somewhere on it.
If not, it's at the editor's desk right now. It's absolutely bizarre. Anyway, the internet is undefeated. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get to the results of today's YouTube live chat poll. Have you voted yet? Leave us your thoughts on the issue. Let's see. Doug said, I love Trump's McDonald's pit stop. I immediately recognized all the cars in the drive-thru were screened and the store was otherwise closed. The trolling that it does to Harris's phony campaign is gold. We'll talk about that when we come back. People are like, this event was staged. Well, he didn't just ambush a McDonald's when he's had 2 attempts on his life that we know of. You know that there have been others that have been foiled before they got that far. And then he's just going to, have randos drive up to the drive-thru and be like, hi, Mr. Trump. Come on. Of course it was a campaign stop. What do you think? Anti-Fry YouTube channel, go vote in the poll. Did you like it? Glad he did it. We'll find out the results when we come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
STS-armory.com for firearms, for classes, for renewals of your CCL. I need to do that. I need to sign up. Need to make it happen. You can get my renewal. Everything that I have question-wise when it comes to everything firearms purchases that I need to make, safety, security devices, it's all at STS Armory. They're located in Pontoon Beach. I encourage you to check them out for all the questions that you have, including there is a huge ruling that's going to be potentially coming down very soon about one of the firearms bans that's taken place in Illinois. The second I heard that was coming down, I'm texting Katie and Jesse saying, tell me about this. What do you know? They'll be on the show, hopefully, to give us their thoughts on the reaction to that ruling when it is released. If you have questions for yourself, if you have problems with your FOID card, you go to STS Armory and they are going to take care of you. You can be confident of that. 618-931-GUNS, 618-931-GUNS. You can go online right away and you can determine what your needs are. You can shop online. You can see what they have in store. You can see what they can order for you. You can call them and ask your questions there as well. You can find them online at sts-armory.com.
Your business. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. If your trees are looking sick or if you have insects that aren't welcome in your landscape, Hansen's can help. Our plant health care program offers tree and shrub fertilization as well as pest management to maintain a great-looking landscape. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
There's more to the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's than just walking, and even more reasons to join us for families facing the disease today, for more time, for treatments. We're closer than ever to stopping Alzheimer's, but to get there, we need you. Join us October 26th at the Chesterfield Amphitheater for St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's, the world's largest fundraiser to fight the disease. Register today at alz.org/STL Walk. That's alz.org/STL Walk.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you approve of Donald Trump's McDonald's stop? Yes or no? We've been talking about it a little bit. We're going to discuss it here next, but we want to know what you think. So jump on Annie Fry's YouTube page, youtube.com/@AnnieFry, and vote in the poll. And then after you vote, leave us a comment. Tell us why you voted the way you voted. We want to hear from you, and we might feature your comments. The time is 2:48. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Happy Monday. Beautiful day in St. Louis. Trump was working at a McDonald's this weekend. It's pretty good retail politics, but you won't believe the coverage he got. Well, you will. From the legacy media. That and a whole lot more coming up here after Fox News at 3.
This is The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. More hard-hitting news from Newsweek, and I just can't get over how ridiculous this stuff is. Newsweek's tweet says, rumors have been circulating on social media that former President Donald Trump's visit to the popular fast food chain was, wait for it, staged.
No.
He's been saying for like maybe a month or more that he was going to go work at a McDonald's.
I actually saw a quote from a McDonald's chef, which I didn't know those were things.
Sure it is.
But it said, like, it was basically him saying he has no idea how difficult making the fries and the food at McDonald's is.
Was it Kamala that said it?
No, it was like a McDonald's chef somewhere. I saw it was like, he'll never be able to do it. Like, you guys are way too serious about this.
Well, and also, if he can't do it, then and he's willing to go be in a place where he's willing to bring attention to the fact that these jobs are, jobs. It's work. It's work. That's what this is. That's not really that surprising. Newsweek says, during a campaign stop in key battleground state of Pennsylvania, former President Donald Trump visited McDonald's and learned how to make fries at a branch in Feasterville, Trevost in Bucks County. Feasterville, is that real? Newsweek is probably looking into that too. On Sunday, the Republican presidential nominee held an impromptu press conference through the drive-thru's window. Trump, known for his love of fast food, it's like, is that a dig? Unlike the rest of Americans, used the opportunity to attack Harris over claims she never worked at a fast food chain during her college years. The vice president has previously said she worked at a McDonald's as a student at Howard University in Washington. Here's a question. We're doing all of this fact-checking. Donald Trump is working at a McDonald's, so to speak, at this campaign stop. They can't be bothered to fact-check the fact that Kamala Harris did or did not work at a McDonald's. And if she did work at a McDonald's, you could prove that. Her W-2s would prove that alone. She'd be like, here's my W-2. I made $4 an hour working at McDonald's in 1981. I'm making up things just like her. If you could prove that, wouldn't they have proven that by now?
Oh, absolutely. They would have told. Yeah, it's really important to them, but they can't prove it, and so it's more important to them now that you know that Donald Trump's visit was staged than it is for you to actually look at Kamala Harris's multiple claims that just aren't true.
However, rumors have been circulating on social media that Trump's visit to McDonald's was staged.
You know, it is true, though, right? That Kamala grew up in a middle-class
family. According to a post on Reddit, a signed letter placed on the storefront by Derek Giacomontonio, the unit's manager, said, "We plan to be closed on Sunday, October 20th until 4 p.m. to accommodate a visit at the request of former President Trump and his campaign."
You think corporate McDonald's corporate had anything like?
I think they would have asked him not to do it if they didn't want him to do it. The note ended with, quote, "I apologize in the inconvenience of closing our restaurant and sincerely look forward to serving you soon." He is a former president of the United States. If Barack Obama wanted to do this exact same thing, and Barack Obama could have absolutely pulled this off. Barack Obama could go into a McDonald's and be handing fries out the window to very fawning fans of his, and it would be as successful as the Trump event was.
Probably better because he's so good with people.
He's so good with people, and Trump is as well. And this absolutely could have been something that Obama did on behalf of the Harris-Wallace campaign, to go show up at a McDonald's and say, "Listen, I see you guys. I know this is hard work. I don't know if I'm capable of doing it, but I'm willing to try." And then he goes and does his finger guns thing, and everybody loves him, and it's hard to watch him and be like, "Gosh, he's a likable dude." Trump did it. And if Barack Obama were in a McDonald's, they would do the same thing for him. He is a former president of the United States. The amount of security that he has, even if his life isn't being threatened in the way that Donald Trump's is, and I don't know that we know that Obama's life isn't being threatened. I know George W. Bush has had threats on his life the entirety of the time that he's been out of office. If Barack Obama went in there and did the same thing, they would close it down, and nobody would even bat an eye at the idea that, of course, you close down a McDonald's for the former president of the United States to be there. Obviously you do that. The people who were coming through the drive-thru to see Trump to get their French fries, I mean, they pretty much just served French fries. He made French fries. He put them in the thing, and the one he's like, "Oh, we're going to fill this one. We're going to overfill this one as much as we possibly can. Look at that. It's so beautiful." And then he puts it, like, the chef, the fry chef or whatever is in there, and he's like, "This is what you do, this is what you do." And Trump's like, "Good advice. Here's how it's going to go." and like, without disrespecting them, he was respectful to everybody who was in there. He treated them all, I'm sure, in the same way that he talks to the people who are around him when he was in the Oval Office every day. There's no difference in Donald Trump's presence in that as there would be if Obama did the same thing as former presidents. The suggestion that, oh, gasp, it's a campaign stop, it was a photo op. It is an election season. Nobody is pretending it is otherwise. And when Trump says, "I've worked at McDonald's 15 minutes longer than Kamala Harris," they're not saying that that's not true because Kamala Harris didn't work there. They're saying it's not true because we don't actually qualify that as work. It's silly. It's ridiculous, and everybody knows it. All right, you want to get to the YouTube? The results? Are
Let's
you ready?
do it.
Okay.
Real quick, though, shout out to my boy Quick Rick. Extra salt, please, on the fries. Put all of the salt on those French fries. Yes. All right, YouTube live chat poll today. Do you approve of Trump's McDonald's stop? 343 votes as I click end poll. 95% saying yes. Close one today.
Nice. 95. 5 other percent of you folks need to just lighten up a little bit. Lighten up and have some fun. I think I would be as interested in seeing how Barack Obama handles that situation. The funny thing is that Kamala Harris would be a bumbling mess in that situation. And as the President of the United States, so don't vote for her. All right, stick around. Mark Reardon's going to pick it up from here on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. We love you. Don't go away.
Turn up the band, find the hole, gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Right now, 38 states allow sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 biggest newspapers, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Here's Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith asking you to vote yes on 2.
Back in my day, I was the wizard of the infield. Now, I'm a grandfather. That's why I'm voting yes on Amendment 2. It means over $100 million for Missouri schools and teachers, and no more broken promises. There's a constitutional guarantee that the money goes to our schools, and legalizing sports betting is great for us fans too. That's why the Royals, Chiefs, Blues, and Cardinals all join me in saying yes on Amendment 2.
Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Have you set your appointment up yet to have your furnace checked to make sure you are good and ready to go for